electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most. You know who I'm talking about, the most meat and potatoes of them all. Looking at you, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, brother?
Let's go, baby. I've been doing great, brother. Great to see you. You know, just eating my meats and potatoes like we recommend out here. Let's go, baby. What up, Tico Tech? Great to see you in the comments. If you're here, if you're new, like, subscribe, get up in there, and come with us as we're taking a trip. I don't know if the music's indicating anything, but we are taking a trip to Paris for UFC. Let's go, baby. Can't wait to dive in with you. It's been too long.
Oh, man, it has been far too long. What is up, Tico Tech? As always, love to see you in the chat. Actually cannot wait to hear who you have in some of these fights. Actually, in all these fights, but being completely honest with you. So with that being said, we are here to break down, as Nano quaintly put, UFC Paris. And that's why the music's changed, you know. But the game's still the same. So is the name. And here we are to break down these fights, folks. So first things first, as we like to talk about, fights that have fallen off of the card. Now, we were originally supposed to have Ludovic Klein versus Nicolas Mota on this card. Fell off. And we were also supposed to have Germaine de Randamie, that's right, GDR, coming in against Nora Cornole. That fight fell off. Germaine de Randamie obviously fell out of that fight. And when it comes to the Ludovic Klein fight, I believe it was Nicolas Mota. Yeah, Nicolas Mota fell out of that fight. So, let's jump into the first fight of the night. We have a lightweight bout between Balaji Oki coming in against Chris Duncan Nano. It has been so long. You know what? I'm just going to let you take the lead here. Who you got in this one and tell us why?
Let's go. I'll set the tone, man. I'll set the freaking tone. We got Balaji Oki send off here, coming from Belgium all the way to Paris, to France, to fight our boy Chris Duncan, representing Scotland. It's a unique matchup. Breaking it down, my first thought was, okay, got two tough guys going in here. Recognize Chris Duncan a little bit more. He's been in the UFC longer, 31 years old, 11-2 record, 7 KOs, 1 sub. And he's 4-2, man. He's good. His first fight was an L, went on a 4-fight win streak, and then his last fight was an L also. So, but that was to a tough Manuel Torres, who we did see at UFC Noche. Didn't get a chance to talk about those necessarily, but in that fight, he had him rocked, man. He had Manuel Torres hurt. He clipped him, but unfortunately, Chris Duncan did end up getting clipped himself, got submitted. So I think, unfortunately, showed some areas of improvement from our boy Duncan there. But he's who I'm leaning in this fight for a few reasons. I just think he's a little bit more well-rounded. I've seen him a little bit more in the UFC, and I think he's going to try to use the striking to get to his wrestling game. And I think he'll find a way to bounce back against a tough Balaji Oki, like I mentioned as well. He's 28 years old, 9-1 record, 5 KOs, 1 sub, 2-0 in the UFC. His only loss was his first fight ever. So dude's trending in the right direction. I got to see a little bit more. He did get a really great clean body shot knockout on the Dana White Contender Series. Always got to acknowledge that because a lot of headhunters out there could always appreciate that someone that goes against the grain, somewhat of an MMA anomaly, so to speak. So got to appreciate those body shot knockouts that are going to get the opponent out of there, which goes to show, and he looks the part. I mean, he throws strong punches and bunches. Again, literally looks as strong as it comes for the weight division here. But I'm leaning the mixed martial artists that I've seen and that I feel will find a way to get it done. And that's Chris Duncan, who I think is an underdog. I'm going to double check my DraftKings here, but I might be setting the tone at a plus 150 odds. Sorry, I'm setting the tone with an underdog. And I don't know if it's just me reading your shirt there, or if that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But curious to hear your breakdown, my brother, and if I'm crazy picking this underdog, or if maybe we're in the same boat.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. His nickname is exactly as it seems. The guy is a problem. Chris the Problem Duncan might prove to be a problem for the Zulu Warrior and Balaji Oki. Now, I mean, if you look at how Tapology scores this, out of almost 1,400 people, 73% of them are against you. They think that Oki's going to get it done, and a lot of them think he's going to get it done via KO. I'm actually with you here, Nano. I think when it comes to these two guys, sure, Chris Duncan's coming off of a loss, and it is a quick round one submission loss to Manuel Torres. But who has the Zulu Warrior really fought? His biggest win is over Timmy Kwamba in the UFC Fight Night that he made his debut in. And, I mean, that guy has 0 wins in the UFC. He lost to Balaji Oki and then went out there and lost to Lucas Almeida. And again, like, Lucas Almeida was coming off of 2 losses himself when he got that win. So I just don't think we've seen enough from Balaji Oki for me to really be willing to bet any money on him. But I'll tell you this. I'm excited to watch the fight, and I am with you, man. I'm not going to walk you off the ledge. I'm going to walk the ledge with you. Chris Duncan, I don't think he gets it done by finish. I think he probably gets it done by decision. But at the same time, again, I think you just take him at straight dog odds. You don't bet it on finish. You don't bet it on a specific outcome. You just take the straight odds here. You can currently get him at plus 150. I mean, why not just put like a unit on that or a half unit on that, right? You put a unit on it, you get 2.5 back. You put a half unit on it, you get 1.25 units. Yeah, we might have to take that dog and Duncan. I actually like that pick. Moving into the next fight, and also Tico Tech, who you got? Do you have a pick in that one? Would love to hear it. Moving into the next fight, we have Nora Cornole coming in against Jacqueline Cavalcante. This is a very fun bantamweight bout. Both of these women are up-and-comers. Both of these women are 5-5 in their last 5. Both of these women have 1 loss to their professional name. Oh, man. And honestly, I don't think there's a closer fight on the entire card, Nano, gun to head. And, you know, Tapology community would agree with me. Over 2,000 people voted. Currently sitting at 51% to 49% split. Very, very close. I actually am not mad at just sprinkling like a 1/10 of a unit on Nora Cornole. Maybe even just doing a little like 1/10 of a unit parlay on those two, I think would be a fun one, right? Because if you put those two together, you got Chris Duncan at plus 150. You got Nora Cornole at plus 180. That gets you to plus 600 odds, right? So you put a 1/10 of a unit on it, you're making almost a unit back. I'm kind of loving that. What are your thoughts on that, Nano?
I like it, brother. I like it. I'm actually leaning in the same direction here, man. I'm glad when we're on the same page. It feels hard when we're conflicted, even though at least one of us is right. Maybe that's a good thing to hedge it. But no, I'm liking what I'm seeing here from this matchup. We got our first French woman represent French, the French country, I should say. Just want to keep saying French. Sorry. Want to squeeze that in as much as I could. Vive la France. From Saint-Denis sur... Oh, man, I'm not even going to try to say the rest of that there. I apologize. But yeah, Nora Wonder Cornole coming in here, 34 years young, 8 wins, excuse me. Jeez. 1 loss to her name, 6 KOs, and 1 submission. That is 7 fights, 8 fights, 7 knockouts, 7 finishes, 2-0 in the UFC with a knockout to go with it as well. She's in her homeland. She's looking to make a statement. She's strong. She's big as well. I think she might be coming down a weight class, at least according to UFC.com. They have her a weight above her opponent, Jacqueline Cavalcanti. So hopefully she can use that to her advantage. But I think she will. I think they're giving the home the home fighter a little bit of an advantage here, and I think they're trying to help her right or wrong. Okay, I say that because Nora actually fought Jacqueline Cavalcanti in her career, not in the UFC. Not in the UFC. Okay, this was an FFAC. This was all the way back in 2021. Okay, Jacqueline was Nora's first fight, and it was a loss. Okay, so I don't know if you're not motivated for this, if Nora's not waking up early and isn't having this date circled on her calendar, I don't know what else is gonna get her out. She better check her pulse. Okay, she has to be motivated. Hey man, I'm just saying, right? How do you not want to go out there and beat someone that already beat you, right? It may not be in the UFC, but you're familiar with each other. You know what's going on. All to say, in her home country, I think Nora's going to find a way to get it done. She's big, she's strong, and I think that she'll use that to her advantage. But curious here, if you think I'm crazy, I mean, like you said, you're just taking it straight up.
I think
a finish is in the realm of possibility, but that's safer.
Yeah, I mean, a finish is definitely in the realm of possibility, right? If you look at the way that Nora typically gets it done, she's a finishing machine, right? 75% of her wins have come by way of knockout, 13% of her wins have come by way of submission, and 13% of her wins have come by way of decision. So 1 sub, 1 decision, 6 knockouts or TKOs. And I mean, if you look across from her, her opponent is, again, 3 knockouts, no submissions, 4 decisions. Both, it is worth noting, both of these women have never been finished. They have both 1 loss to their careers or to their name, and each of them have a loss via decision. So that's why I think you take the money line bet here, just because both have proven to be hard to finish in the past. That leads me to believe that they're going to have a hard time finishing one another, no matter how good they are. So if you're going to bet the under on this one, probably just threw your money away. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be an under 2.5. I also just don't know that it's going to be a finish. But I also don't know that Nora's going to win, right? I do think that she's going to use her size and strength here, and I think that she should be able to get, a pretty dominant clinch and then probably go out there and possibly get the finish, right? She is a pretty decent striker, in my opinion. And like you said, she's fighting in her backyard, potentially. So, yeah, I'm leaning Nora here. I'm almost talking myself into Nora by finish, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take Nora straight up.
I like it, brother. I like it. Like you said, everyone has a puncher's chance, right? And that's what Jacqueline Cavalcanti is going to go in there and try to do. Just look at the numbers. She lands twice as many strikes per minute as her opponent, Nora, but she also absorbs twice as many as well. I think that's maybe one thing to look at, whether it's, hey, to your point, anything can happen. Maybe Nora is going to be able to catch her in one of those breaks in a window, or as maybe Jacqueline's willing to get into those exchanges. That leaves more opportunities for a strong, heavy-handed Nora Cornoli here in her backyard. But to that same point, though, judges love someone that's busy. They want to see that production, and if you're out there and you're scoring, you're peppering your opponent, even if it's not necessarily the hardest of strikes. I mean, death by 1,000 cuts can still potentially be a path to victory for Jacqueline as well. So do got to say that, it isn't a surefire thing. We're talking about 2 underdogs that we like back to back. Tends to be our trend around here, but they're close pick'ems. I mean, under 200 odds or plus 180, plus 150 respectively for the last 2 fighters here. I mean, that's close to a toss-up, ladies and gents. I'll take it here. UFC odds, that's about a pick'em. So let's go, baby. Let's run the underdogs. Might see a trend here. I don't know. Might be onto some.
We might be onto something. We might have to do a big little underdog picks today. And I mean, yeah, you know me. I'm a sucker for a Muay Thai style striker. Cornole is a Muay Thai style striker coming in against Cavalcante, who is a decent striker as well. She's more of a just kind of a kickboxer or more of a, I don't know, I want to say like an MMA trained striker, if that makes sense, versus a more Muay Thai technicality striker. So yeah, give me the Muay Thai chick. I think she's going to come out there, get that clinch early on, dominate in the clinch. The only thing that really does worry me here is the 3-inch reach advantage that I don't think either of us touch bases on, that Cavalcante does have. That is a bit worrisome, but it's all good. It's okay. We're still going to stay with Muay Thai Cornole. And we're going to move into the next one, which of course is Daniel Barez coming in against Victor Altamirano. We'll go ahead and popcorn back and forth. Nano, take the lead here, brother.
I love it, brother. I love it. Appreciate it, man. This is a fun one. I think we're going to see some fun strikes in this one. I think we're going to have a striker's delight. Might potentially be a sleeper for fight of the night as well. Just looking at the profile for both these guys, I'll start with Daniel Barez, representing España here. 35 years old, 16-6 records, 7 KOs, 6 subs. Do the math. That's 13 out of 16 fights. Did not need the judges' scorecards. He gets the job done with his hands. Oh, yeah. Or even by a finish as well, or excuse me, by a submission as well. This guy has plenty of tools in the tool chest, and he's actually has a lot of experience fighting out of Mexico, even though he's representing Spain. So curious to see that he was able to earn a 4-fight win streak, even though he most recently lost to Rafael Filo, the pastor. Submission by submission back in 2023. So Daniel, he's going to come in. He's going to be calculated. I think he is going to pose a lot of threats. However, I'm looking at my boy Victor Altamirano, the Mexicano. I did the hand gesture of, like a godfather here, but Victor Altamirano, it's muy bueno. El Magnifico is the nickname, and boy, does he represent it well. His strikes are great to watch. They're fun. It's something that makes you want to get the popcorn and you realize, okay, this guy is must-see TV. Okay, at 33 years old, 12-4 record, 2 KOs, 4 subs. Not necessarily, someone that's going out there and having the wow moments of the one-hit KOs, right? Obviously, 2 KOs is not a ton. Let's call out the elefante in the room. But he's representing Texas. He is also on a 2-fight losing streak. Again, I'm addressing these elefantes in the room. But those are tough opponents that Victor lost to, okay? Let's cut the guy some slack. He's 3-3 in the UFC overall, but 2 of those opponents are a Tim Elliott, who's an absolute stud, and a Felipe Dos Santos, who is a guy that we're going to be talking about for a long time. Another young up-and-coming guy from Brazil. So Victor is someone that he goes out there, he brings his A game every single time he's in the octagon, and I just think he's a tough son of a gun. There's a lot of unique strikes. I think that's where the Magnifico comes from, is flashy, but it's calculated flashiness. It's not just willy-nilly throwing limbs out and hoping it lands, throwing spaghetti against the wall type thing. No. It's calculated, it's measured, but that's where he thrives, is in those chaotic moments. And I think that poses a lot of threats for his opponents as well. Hard to pick up reads, hard to kind of maybe get to your game plan or ultimately want to counter or pick up, again, any reads there. It's going to be harder to do those things. Not to mention, Victor can take you down. Overall, I think he's just a well-rounded fighter, man. I'm rooting for him. He's got 4 inches of reach. He's the favorite. So I'm going away from the trend here a little bit. I'm going to choose the favorite for a reason, even though it's slight, because again, he's obviously coming off a couple losses here. So, hey, nobody's perfect, as J. Cole once said, but he's perfect for me in this fight. So give me Victor Altamirano by decision. Lock it up. Talk to me, brother. Am I talking crazy? Or are we going 3 for 3 now?
Man, I don't know what's happening. I'll be completely honest with you. This is going to make for a pretty boring show, just because we're not going to have any discussions really outside of just agreeing. Yeah, no, I'm going Altamirano here. I just think he has too many tools for getting this done. You look at Altamirano and kind of what he brings to the table here, and I just think he's a bad matchup for Barez. Looking at their last few opponents, again, if you look at their last 5, you've got one guy that's 4-1 and one guy that's 2-3. You would think you'd go for the guy that has a more winning record. Not necessarily always the case. Both of these men have losses to Carlos Hernandez, so I feel like those two kind of just negate each other, right? So from there, we have to look at who else they've lost to. Daniel Barez most recently lost last year to Rafael Fialo, who is good. He's good. He's very decent, but I wouldn't say he's top 10, right? And then you look across at Victor Altamirano, El Magnifico, and his 2 most recent losses are to Tim fucking Elliott, a guy who looked pretty decent against people like, I don't know, Mighty Mouse. So, like, I don't know. You really have to give the guy his credit. I feel like that alone kind of puts more respect on the guy's name. And then the fact that you look at the fact that he went the distance with Tim Elliott, and that speaks even higher, right? I mean, come on. Again, I say 2016, Demetrius Johnson prime. Tim Elliott went the distance with DJ. This guy went the distance with Tim Elliott. I think he's probably going to be a handful for Daniel Barez. I think this is going to be a learning experience for Daniel Barez. He is 16-6. My lucky number is 616. Again, you would think I'd be going for that guy, but not happening. Going to go with my heart. Going to go with my gut. And just for fun, because I'm a nut, let's see what that would look like if we added that to the parlay. Just a little opening 3-leg parlay. I've been lucky with those opening 3 in the past.
Ooh, there we go.
Hit the early pre.
Three's company.
Three's company. So let's see. If you put 1 unit on it, 12 extra money. You hit 12.6 units. I might have to do like a half unit bet on that, or maybe like a fifth of a unit. That might be the move.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach here.
Line, Nora Carnole and Victor Altamirano. Little 3-leg opener parlay. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to reach on this line here, but when the moon hits your eye like something 3 some more.
Pizza pie. That's UFC bet.
3 some more. I like it, baby. I like it. Trying to squeeze that in, but
excited,
I like it, brother. I like it.
What up, Adrian? How we doing, A-Train?
Let's go, baby. What it do?
I got to pour up a shot for the A-Train right now, brother.
Oh, let's go, man. Let's go. He knows I got no wife in the house. He knows I can make a little ruckus tonight, so we pulling up. Let's go, baby. Chee-wee-wees.
Chee-wee-wees.
Halfway through the week, ladies and gents, we made it, man. We're on the home stretch, y'all.
We are out here. And
if you're listening and you feel obliged, pour some up. It could be water. Stay hydrated. It could be caffeine if maybe you're listening to this in the morning. But if you're an adult and you're able to do it responsibly, you can go ahead and you get that. You get that good. And you pull up and you put the bottom, well, not the bottom down, so you put the bottoms up is what I was trying to say there.
As Cheers to that. You like to say, you put the pussy on the chain wax. Cheers
Let's
to that.
Go, babe.
Everybody's saying it.
Cheers to that, baby. Cheers to that. Cheers to getting high on pot news now. Getting high on pot news.
You know the vibes, Adrian. You know the vibes.
Hell yeah, baby.
So, let's go. Is
it my turn?
Fight.
Were you talking? Are we transitioning?
I'm going to go first. We're transitioning to the next fight. I think we both hit that one. I think we're good on that one. And we're going to be even better on this next one, folks. You already know what it is. We're talking about Eileen Perez coming in against Daria Zelezniakova. I feel like that's the best I've ever actually said.
You nailed that. You nailed that, brother.
I've been dreading this fight for that reason. But I love this fight, actually. I think it's a very fun matchup for Eileen Perez. Fiona coming in against the Iron Lady, Daria. I mean, there's a bit of fan bias. Obviously, a lot of the people on Tapology are probably subscribed to Eileen's OnlyFans. Because I think this is a much more competitive fight than the fans are giving it credit for. 1,400 people have voted. 85% of them are on Eileen Perez. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted, homie. I'm also on Eileen Perez. And I mean, she's a minus 238 favorite. But I digress. I do think that this fight is a bit closer than that, with all due respect, right? If we look at the matchup here, I mean, just from an experience standpoint, one woman has only had 2 more fights than the other, right? She's 10-2 versus 9-1. So she's had 1 more loss and 1 more victory. Sure, there's more experience there, and that's fine, but it's not such a differential that it's going to make that vast of a difference. Now, you have more of a kung fu style fighter in Eileen Perez, the way that she strikes, and she does fight a lot in switch style stance here, which is nice. So she can mix it up southpaw, she can mix it up orthodox, she can go high, she can go low. You know what I'm saying? And then you have more of an orthodox style striker in the Iron Lady coming in against her. Now, the Iron Lady has most of her wins by TKO, the rest of them by decision. It's almost a 50-50 split, 5 by TKO, 4 by decision. The only loss that she's had was by way of knockout. And her opponent, Eileen Perez, has lost by submission one time as well as by decision one time. Fairly similar, but the opposite, right? She's had 5 decision wins, 4 knockout wins, and 1 submission win. So basically 50-50 when it comes to finishes versus non-finishes. How do I see this one going? I honestly think that if she uses everything to her advantage that she actually has, and that's Eileen Perez that I'm talking about here, I think she should win the fight. She is the slightly better fighter. Again, there's a 1-year age difference, so not enough there to really mean anything. But the only thing that worries me here is that Daria Zelenziakova is very good in the striking game. She's predominantly a kickboxer. And I think most of this fight is going to take place on the feet. And with that 2-inch reach advantage, I know 2 inches doesn't seem like a lot, but 2 inches is everything in a fight, especially if you know how to use it. That's why I think this should be a little bit closer on paper. I'm not saying that I'm going to take the underdog here, but I am telling you I'm avoiding this fight from a betting perspective like it's a fucking landmine. Nano, what are your thoughts on this one?
Sheesh, that's interesting, brother. But that is probably a good take from a betting perspective, y'all. I mean, let's address that. If y'all are doing it, again, first and foremost, do it responsibly. Second off, do it on DraftKings or Underdogs. Shout out. And if you're looking for a sponsorship, we got creative ideas. If you're listening, please. And we're in sales. We will pitch you. So please let us know. I digress. Yeah, hey, you covered a lot of bases there, brother, which I love, kind of ping-ponging this way. All that to say, I'm leaning Eileen Perez here as well. I'm going to go with the favorite here for a reason. You mentioned that it's probably going to be more striking than it is maybe on the ground. I think for us fans, I'd love to see it. As a judge, makes it tough in terms of, and what I just said, as someone that's betting for Eileen, that's tough to hear because that favors a Daria, right? A Daria Zelezniakova. I'm not going to try it again, but, got the syllables out of my mouth. Don't know if it came out. Our listeners on the other side of the world are probably, very upset with me, but I'm doing my best here. But yeah, again, if Daria is on the feet for majority of the fight, then it's looking like it's going to go that direction. However, okay, we're talking about an Eileen Perez, okay? You may have seen the twerking videos. Like you said, if you're a naughty boy, you may have seen the OF page. Naughty. Again, be responsible, y'all. But, and these are her words. I'm looking at Eileen's Instagram right now. Hashtag Eileen Nurmagomedov is who we're talking about here, okay? And that's not just trying to be a dig to Daria saying, I'm the true Russian. She's saying, no, I'm a Russian style. I'm a Nurmagomedov. I am a dominant wrestler, okay? And on top of that, she also takes claim to having the most takedowns ever in her division here. So I think that's going to end up happening. As much as Eileen may go against her better judgment and probably her coach's game plan to try to strike and outstrike a kickboxing professional, I think she's going to come to her better judgment. I think she will find a way to get Daria on the ground. But Daria did prove to have some really good defense her last fight. I think when you're someone as talented as her, how are you not just drilling that all day, every day? I mean, me personally, it's like, hey, I know I got good hands. If I got that special power and it's been displayed before, I'm gonna patch up these holes in my game, and I'm just gonna drill in something that I know that people are gonna try to use against me, and that's wrestling. So, sure, it's easy to find some good wrestlers in Russia to give her some good looks. However, again, I'm making the case for her because anything's possible. We like our underdogs around here, but not this time, ladies and gents. Okay, we are leaning Eileen Perez, 3-0 in the UFC, the twerking champ. and someone that is just fun, someone I want to root for, and I think we'll find a way to get it done. But it's going to be a gritty fight for sure. And Daria, more to come for sure. She makes her UFC debut here, but I think we'll also, the Iron Lady, right? It's someone. Oh, I shouldn't say that. She did have her debut earlier this year against Montserrat Rendon. I don't want to misspeak, but it was close. She won, but it was a close fight. There was some controversy. So even if she doesn't win this fight, this ain't the last that we'll see of our girl Daria. That's what I was really trying to say here. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think Daria is definitely someone that we should keep our eyes on here. I think she's one of them girls, man. But Eileen, I think is just getting her at the right time, at the best possible time, really, for both ladies here. So, I mean, onward for her, right? I'm all about it. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup. Again, I do think it's going to be a little bit closer in the grand scheme of things and the actuality of the fight, rather than her being a minus 238 favorite here. That's tough pickings. And from there, it only gets worse, folks. You know I'm talking about Taylor Lapilus coming in against Vince Morales. Taylor Lapilus, of course, coming in as a minus 360 favorite. Nano, are you betting on this one? Are you staying away from it? And if so, are you betting on the favorite?
Man, if I were to bet, I would probably have to bet on the Frenchman, Taylor Lapilus, to go out there and get it done, okay? I think they're giving the hometown kid a good matchup here, something that I think they're hoping he can go out and win. Not that it's a gimme. Nothing's a gimme here in the UFC. But that's where I'm leaning in terms of my bet, or in terms of my fight pick. However, I'm probably staying away from bet perspective. It is pretty steep here. He's at a over minus 300, 350, 375 on some sites. It's a little too pricey for my liking. I think maybe if I'm going to parlay him with a couple other favorites that I feel absolutely good about, I'm certainly going to put him in the conversation. But, and let me start there, right? Taylor Lapilus, double impact, 32 years old, 20 wins, 4 losses, 4 KOs, 6 subs. Half the time he doesn't need the judge's scorecard. And he's good, man. He's good. Honestly, my big takeaway with Taylor and his style, even though he doesn't have a lot of finishes in the UFC, he beat a Cody Stamann, someone we've seen in the UFC a lot. So that's stood out to me. But also, he's got good movement, man. He bounces in and out really, really well. And he's got a long left hand. He is going to have 3 inches of reach. And he fights with every bit of those 3 inches. Feels like it's 6 inches when he kind of go gadget extends that left arm out there from the southpaw. But I like what I'm seeing from him. Every time he goes out there, it's violent. Again, he beat a Cody Stamann, a fight I really, if we check the receipts, probably ruled him out. Probably just thought, Cody's gonna go out there, out wrestle him, just dog him. Not the case. And looking at his opponent, Vince Morales, it pains me to go against the Vince Vendetta, cool nickname, Morales here. Partially because that could have been my last name. That's a story for another day, or maybe we'll get around to it. But also, he has the same birthday as me. Just like, man, it's hard to pick against my boy here. There's another fellow Scorpio, fellow November 12th birthday, and came into this world the same day. A lot in common. All jokes aside, what I found interesting, and you don't see this too often, right? My first note is he's a boomerang. Vince Morales is a boomerang here in the UFC. He's 33 years old, but he fought here in the UFC way back when. He was 3-5 back in 2018 to 2022. But then he jumped out of the UFC for the last 2 years, fought twice a year, which is pretty typical. And he won four fights, four down. That's what you want to do. And maybe that's why he's getting this shot again here, to go back and prove to the UFC that he's still somebody that deserves a contract, that deserves to be around, even though he may not have had the best stint that first time. Again, one of those losses. Actually, I'm going to name 2 of these. First, a Chris Gutierrez and El Guapo. A loss to him. I mean, come on. Guy's a stud. Still doing absolute work here in the octagon. And then a Jonathan Martinez as well. Someone that is an absolute stud. Okay, the Dragon is still ranked at the top of the division. Someone that I'm really excited to see go out there and fight. So maybe Vince isn't as bad as we think, right? Maybe he's not as bad as the losses would indicate, I should say. However, it's a road game. He's going away, all the way to France. I don't know how long the flight is, but I gotta imagine it's at least 12, 14 hours. And he's got a tough son of a gun in front of him. I'm leaning Taylor Lapalus to get it done. And that's my 2 cents, man. Curious to hear your thoughts. I could go on for days here, but that's where my head's at. Let's go, baby.
I'm not mad at it, man. I am not mad at it. I think this is the opposite of what I was saying in that last fight, right? Like, I think these odds are probably a little bit more warranted here, right? I do think that Taylor Lapalus should be a minus 360 favorite. I do think he's the better fighter. I do think, I mean, he has the reach advantage. Even though he's at a disadvantage as far as height, like he's going to be swinging up, so to speak. But I don't think he even needs to. I mean, he's a grinder of a fighter, right? He is a mixed martial arts fighter in every facet of the word. I think that he is going to go out there and probably look to sap the energy of his opponent, take away the pop and spring of the more striker heavy Vince Morales. And then in those first round, like the first round or two, I truly think that he's just going to be able to out wrestle him and just sap the energy from him. And if he's able to do that, Vince Morales is going to become fairly inefficient and just compromised moving forward. Being more of a striker myself, there's nothing more frustrating than getting taken down and not being able to get up. And the entire time you're trying to get up, you are exerting a ton of energy that as a striker, you are not used to exerting on a regular basis like that. Even if you train, it's different when you're in an actual combat situation, in an actual fight with someone trying to hurt you. So, great take, Nano. I'm with you here. I won't dwell on it too much more. I think Taylor Lapalus goes out there and gets it done. The men have a fairly similar set of experience, but I just think that Double Impact is a little bit better of a fighter than Vendetta, who does have a little bit better of a nickname. It's just them's the facts, folks. That's how it crumbles, man. That's how it crumbles.
That's it, man.
Is equals is. Moving into the next fight, we have Ludwig Klein coming in against Roosevelt Roberts. That's right, folks. The same Ludwig Klein who was originally slated to fight Nicholas Mota coming in to fight Roosevelt Roberts. Roosevelt Roberts, of course, stepping in on short notice here. Roosevelt, the Predator Roberts, is someone you may have heard of. You may remember. He made it into the UFC, fought a Jim Miller, a Brock Weaver, an Alexander Yakovlev, a Kevin Kroom, Ignacio Bahamondes might be a name that you guys might recognize nowadays since he just fought and had a really stellar win recently, right? Against Manuel Torres at UFC Noche. So, I mean, this guy came into the UFC, fought kind of a who's who to an extent, and then got booted out of the UFC after getting spinning wheel kicked into oblivion by Ignacio Bahamondes. What does he do? He goes and he fights a Darren Smith Jr. at LXF7, and then he fights Alessandro de Almeida at Eagles FC. Gets 3 wins back to back to back. And then they give him a chance in the Ultimate Fighter. Gets 1 win in 8 seconds of round number 1. Then he loses to Austin Hubbard, who we know is a stud. Then they give him a chance anyways in the UFC, and he loses to Mateus Rebecki. You hate to see it. So this man has to take these short notice bout accepts. Otherwise, he's not going to get a chance to fight in the UFC, right? He has, as the kids say, fumbled the bag a couple times, and the UFC is unforgiving. Uncle Dana is unforgiving. He's not the cool uncle that gives you money on your birthday just for being a kid. He's the uncle that makes you paint his fence and then somehow still forgets to pay you. We know it's true, folks. You know it's true, folks. That's just the Uncle Dana everybody knows. Now, in this fight, I don't love Roosevelt Roberts' chances simply because Ludwig Klein is just a son of a bitch, man. He is a really good fighter. The young man is 29 years old, just about a year, almost a year on the day younger than his opponent, Roosevelt Roberts, the Predator. And Mr. Highlight has almost the exact same reach, right? There's a half-inch difference. But again, Roosevelt Roberts is much taller. So the ape index is definitely in favor of Ludovic Klein. The thing that's really worth noting for Ludovic Klein, though, is just how fucking good he is. Why is he good, though? Well, because he can get it done anywhere it goes. He can knock you out. He can submit you. And if you're unsubmittable, unknockoutable, you are that formidable of opponent that he just cannot seem to put you away, he will still find a way to just grind you out. One of the more recent wins that he got is over Ignacio Bahamondes, who, again, spinning wheel kicked Roosevelt Roberts into oblivion a long time ago. Another one to AJ Cunningham. Also got the win over Thiago Moises, who we all know is a game wily veteran. He also got a draw with Jai Herbert, Black Country Banger. Dude's an absolute fucking beast. The only two people that have actually beat this young man in recent years are Nate the Train Landwehr. You already know what it is. Check out this bicep. And Michael Trezano, who, I mean, Michael Trezano, when he's on, the Lone Wolf is a fucking, again, he's a son of a bitch to fight, man. So give me Mr. Highlight in this one. I don't know. I got a weird feeling that it might not end up being the most exciting fight, just because I think he'll want to play it safe against somebody like Roosevelt Roberts. He does have an 8-second finish, right? He is dangerous. He is long. Not much longer than Ludovic Klein, though, because Klein does have a kind of crazy reach, if we're being honest here. Yeah, I'm interested to hear your take on this one, Nano. But, I mean, overall, I truly think that Ludovic Klein is going to be the better fighter. I think what it's going to boil down to is Roosevelt Roberts is going to have a tough time taking him down, and the boxing of Ludovic Klein is going to be something to really pay attention to. Just establishing the jab early on is going to prove to be a big problem for Roosevelt Roberts, I think.
Yeah, brother. I agree with everything you're mentioning there. And I'll be swift with my reaction or response in just that. Ludovic's going to take care of business. I think he's going to make it look not necessarily too easy, but it's like, and honestly, I guess the height can be something. Just punching up is something to factor in. But when you have just about the same reach as your opponent, and you have the kind of skill set that a Ludovic Klein has when it comes to, like you said, just the clean boxing, dude's tough as nails. He has fought and beat the who's who's. I mean, that Ignacio Bahamondes win has aged like a fine wine. So all of that to say, and I mean, geez, do I even need to say the odds? I mean, minus 950, almost minus 1,000 odd favorite to win this. It's like, that should be in it all of itself. Granted, crazy things can happen, right? Roosevelt is someone that has knockouts on his belt. I guess Roosevelt has knockouts under the belt. I like that. Little rhyme to the reason. Anything can happen, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like it's impossible. Does have 4 KOs to his 12 wins. However, Ludovic's just so gosh darn technically sound. I just don't see that scenario happening. I mean, he's 6-2-1 in the UFC since 2020. And he just feels like one of those guys. Unfortunately, I mean, I guess Roosevelt Roberts is a recognizable name. Not necessarily someone that you look at and say, okay, you beat Roosevelt, you got to go fight for the title. It's like, okay, well, yeah, he probably still a few steps away, but hoping to really see a dominant win here from Ludovic. And I think he probably does deserve that next step. Someone that's another guy that's getting closer to the top 25, top 15, looking to get a ranked opponent. He's someone that I think very highly of. So I'm going to leave it there. He's a stud. He should win minus 950. I mean, I would, if I wasn't so, if I were more irresponsible, I'd pull out a second mortgage on this house right now, and I'd say I'm betting everything I have to my name and my dog. Ludovic's gonna find a way to win. Luna, plug your ears. And Amy, if you're listening, I'm just kidding.
There goes your college fund, Luna.
We suck again.
I have to address something in the chat. Tico Tech LLC said a little bit ago, you guys are the only two people I know who use wired headphones in 2024. We're hardwired into the microphone.
I was gonna say, that's the only reason why. I guess. Yeah, there's no way around it.
I mean, I can try and figure out a workaround, but I mean, I don't know if it would work with the soundboard. So I mean, what's a good one? Here we go.
We're wired. We're wired in, baby.
We're hardwired, brother. We're hardwired. Now, God bless you, Nano. God bless you. God bless you, Nano. Oh, wait, he already did. He gave you an awesome co-host like me. And a modest one, too.
My man. Thank you, brother. For the blessings and for the kind words.
You already know. Look, dude, this is one thing I did point out while you were doing your spill. You can get Klein to win by KO, TKO, or DQ at minus 120. Almost break even odds. Is that a trap, though? What if he goes out and gets the sub?
I was just gonna say, maybe how many subs does Ludovic have though? Oh, he has 8 subs. Oh gosh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 9 KOs, 8 subs.
Double wired up on a Wednesday, brother. Double, triple wired.
Hey man, as long as we're not crossing wires, I think we're A-okay.
Oh, Adrian, bless you. Bless you.
That's how I feel, man. These gosh darn allergy attacks, man. What's going on?
Oh shit.
Or it's all this dust I gotta probably clean up or something. Who knows? But I digress. Tico, enough chit-chatting, man. Tell us who you think's gonna win here. Tell us you think we're crazy. Let us know who you're picking. And if you're listening, let us know who you're picking as well. Or let us know how crazy we are. Get in the comments. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe if you like free subscriptions. And I'm not talking OnlyFans here. We're talking on the YouTubes. Go ahead and hit that button. It's free, baby. And you get free music. You get free show. You get good people in the chat there. Come on. What more do you need? Water's warm.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hit them buttons. I digress.
And
give us a little bit.
Real quick. That was a beautiful plug. We got to get you to do that shit all day, every day. So I did say that you can get him to win. You can get Klein to win by KO, TKO, or DQ at minus 120. I say fuck those odds. Because you can get him to win inside the distance at minus 175. So that covers the submission too. So you can turn 1 unit into 1.57.
I reckon we do that.
It's a better deal. It's a better deal.
Yeah. Gotta do what's right. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
We're going to do 1 unit on that.
And if it don't make sense, don't make dollars.
1 unit or a half unit? What do you think? What do you reckon? I think a unit's safe.
Yeah, I think a uni. Gotta go full unit on that. That is, like I said, I was willing to put my full unit of living on that thing, so I'll take a uni.
I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done inside the distance too. So I'm
minus the house and just keep the unit.
That's right. Minus the house, keep the unit. Double or nothing. Let's go.
Let's go.
You'd love to see it, baby. All right. Moving into the next one, we got Umar Sai coming in against the Won Jung. This one is going to be an interesting one at light heavyweight. You got both men standing exactly 6'3", a 2-year age difference, but somehow a 4.5-inch reach difference. Umar Sai has a very decent ape index with an 83-inch fucking reach. Man, what an animal. Good Lord. You'd love to see it. I'm super, super envious of the guy's reach. Now, looking at how these guys fight, I would say like same, but different, but still the same. Very much well-rounded mixed martial artists. One guy obviously has a little bit more of a, the touch. Looking at you, Dawon Jung, with 11 knockouts. Whereas across from him, Umar Sai is a little bit more well-rounded with his finishes, right? He's got 4-4 as far as 4 TKOs and 4 submission wins. But I think it's your turn to take the lead on this one, so I don't want to steal the thunder. Nano, what are you thinking?
I like it, brother. I like it. I appreciate the lead in there. Good way for me to alley-oop this thing on home. And I'm not going to keep the people waiting. I'm going to give them what they want. I'm taking the Frenchman here. I'm taking the guy representing French or France. Why I always get that mixed up for some reason. I just want to keep calling him the Frenchman. I think you think of Ricky Booby. I digress. I'm taking Umar Sai for a few reasons here. I think Umar Sai is a talented fighter. Like you mentioned, brother. I mean, just turn on the tape, pull out the popcorn. Dude's a show. 6'4", 205 pounds. The light heavyweight division. I mean, 4 KOs, 4 subs. It's 80% finish rate. And Da Woon Jung, he knows how to get it done as well. Okay, this guy has plenty of finishes as well under his belt, like you mentioned. 15 wins, 11 KOs, 2 subs. That's 13 out of 15. I mean, I don't think we're going to need the judges on this one. Don't turn your eyes. Don't go to the bathroom during this fight. Stay locked in for the 10, maybe 15 minutes tops. Might even be in the first round. Sometimes these light heavyweights, man, once they get swinging and banging, it don't take much. But again, I'm leaning the more talented, more explosive fighter. Even though we haven't seen Omar in the Omar, maybe I should say that. The Mexican in me wants to call him Omar, like, you know, one of my homies. But Orumar, there's a U in there. I think he's gonna go out, represent for his hometown and in his home country, and just showcase fun strikes. I mean, the type of striker he is, it's really, really fun to watch. Not to mention, this guy has the submission background as well, right? I mean, he was able to go out there, get a face crank in his UFC debut back in May of this year. That's really what seals the deal for me, right? Typically, if it's someone that doesn't have a lot of UFC experience, but they're a big, talented striker, I say, no, I got to wait a little bit. I got to see it first, right? But we did get a little taste, just like those samples at Costco. Just a little sliver. I like what I'm getting. I'm going to go and get the box. In fact, I'm going to get 2. I'm going to freeze 1, and I'll pull that out for me. Unfortunately, Da Woon Jung, coming off of a 3-fight losing streak, typically, and I've said it earlier, rewind the tape a little bit, I let y'all know, hey man, I've seen him in the UFC, win or loss, I just have more of a memory print, of a footprint, so I'm gonna go with that guy. In this case, it's not good memories, it's a nightmare, it's not good. I don't want to go back down that reel. You know, it's not a fun TikTok video, it's one of the dark ones, and it's the ominous music, and you know, it says wasted at the end. It's not good, okay? Jokes aside, I'm going with Omar Sy. But I'm going to kick it back to your side over there, my brother. Maybe we're on the same page here, unless you're going with a huge underdog, unless you really are doing what your shirt says there. But curious to hear your breakdown, or maybe what's exciting for you about this fight and this matchup. The light heavyweight division, which we don't see too often. Wish we had more of these. Talk to me now.
Man, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When it comes to this fight, there's a few things that really excite me. The puncher's chance in Da Woon Jung, but I mean, honestly, seeing Umar come out here and get it done, I think is going to be really, really something to see, right? And doing it in his home country, doing it in Paris, I think will just, again, I think it's going to be something very, very special to behold here. I mean, I personally cannot wait to see it. I think the best thing about this kid is that he can get it done anywhere it goes. The guy's got 4 TKOs, 4 submissions. He also has 2 decisions. I hope that this is going to be another one tacked down to the TKO or sub phase here. But, I mean, is it one that we're going to bet on? I don't know. Looking at the odds, minus 550 doesn't really look super appetizing for me. But if we look at the winning method odds here, those double method odds, I think to get it done inside the distance at minus 150, not terrible. Considering when it comes to the losses of the Woon Jung, 60% of them have come by way of finish. So I think Umar actually is going to be live for a finish here. I don't know if I'd bet rounds. Actually, no. Let's hold on. What's the unders? There's just the straight unders here. Under 1.5 seems like a bit of a stretch. Under 2.5, you can get it minus 160, and then you cover both guys.
I like it. I like where your head's at.
I don't think I'm gonna bet on this one. I'm just saying, if you wanted to make a bet on this fight, I think if you wanted juicy odds, you go under 2.5 rounds for this fight. If you want safe odds, you just take the straight money line pick, and you don't really make a whole lot back because it's minus 540. He's a favorite for a reason. That's that, folks. Moving into the next one. We got Iwan Kudalaba coming in against Ivan Erslan. I'm going to pour up another shot for this one because your old lady's out of town. And also
Let's
because Iwan Kudalaba, I feel like every time he fights, I have to do a shot. Just because of... I feel like every time he fights, I lose money.
Thought you were going to say it's because he fights like a drunk guy that's just beratedly moving forward and taking shots and zombie-like.
That too. You're not wrong, Cotton. You're not fucking wrong. Oh, man, you are not
Fights
wrong.
like two drunk guys at a bar. This guy.
He fights like two drunk guys at a bar, and he's both of them.
And he's the other guy. He's fighting himself. That's how crazy he is.
Adrian, if you're still in the chat, brother, pour one up. If you are watching, whether you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, whatever the case may be, if you drink, pour up one with us and do this shot casually with us. If you don't drink, do us a favor and pour up a shot of water. Stay hydrated, folks. And no matter what, we just are very, very happy that you could be anywhere else in the world right now on this beautiful Wednesday night. But you chose to be right here with us, listening to this cheesy Paris music and having a good-ass time talking about UFC Paris. So to that, we salute you and we say cheers, folks.
Au revoir.
Thanks for being here.
Au revoir.
Delicioso. Delicioso.
Love it.
So, Iwan Kudalaba versus Ivan Ersig. I mean, this is a really, really weird fight for me. I just said Ivan Ersig. Ivan Erslan, not Steve Ersig. Don't combine names, Olin. What are you doing, kid? This is a weird fight for me, right? Because Iwan Kudalaba is just... He's an interesting guy. Every time he fights, there's some type of controversy. He's very, very inconsistent, which is why if you look at his last 5, he's 1-4. His opponent, not necessarily the leader of consistency himself, right? If you look at his last 5, he's 3-2. Still a lot better than 1-4, though. The only issue I have with this fight is the fact that he's making his debut. He has never fought another UFC fighter. He's fought people named Rafael Kizangaruk, Luis Henrique de Silva. Actually, that guy was in the UFC, I believe. Yeah, he was 100% in the UFC. Just kidding. Frankenstein. He wasn't in the UFC very long, but I do remember Luis Henrique de Silva. But again, like the other people he's fought are Roger Carroll, Darwin Rodriguez, Ibrahim Chuzagiv. So like he's fought a lot at KSW, FNC. KSW is a very respectful and respectable promotion, but it ain't UFC, folks. It ain't UFC. It's like saying, well, I'm a professional football player. And, you know, that's what you tell people for every conversation. If I tell you I'm a professional football player and I don't clarify what kind of professional football player, wouldn't you think that I mean NFL? Right. So what if I mean XFL?
Unless some parts of the world, football, depending on, you know, the enunciation.
So Premier League.
But there we go.
So it's either Premier League or NFL, brother. Like if I'm in like 5 leagues below Premier League, like, I should tell you that.
And then there's one of them. Yeah, there's a Premier League. There's not.
If I play in the XFL, I should be like, I'm a professional football player for the XFL. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, he's fought KSW level talent. He has not fought UFC level talent. He is very impressive, though. I did look up some of his highlights. I mean, the kid is strong, right? Like 71% of all of his wins have come by way of knockout. I think at the very least he's live for a knockout, considering if you look across from him, Iwan Kudalaba, I mean, he's lost 3 times by knockout. He's also lost 4 times by submission. So it's tough, man. Yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't have a lot on this fight. I'm trying to avoid it from a betting perspective because I've been done dirty by the Hulk before. And the only thing I want to do during this fight is what Hulk does. And that's smash or get smashed, rather. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to drink during that fight and hope it's a fun one. I do think Ivan Arslan probably going to get it done, but not gonna bet even a penny of my money on or against Ion Cutelaba because just inconsistency is a son of a bitch. No, talk to us about your pick.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? It's like Ion Cutelaba is the type of guy when you want him to win, he loses, and when you absolutely roll him out, he finds a way to get it done. So definitely not someone you want to necessarily bet your money with, but when it comes to tuning in and just enjoying some good old-fashioned violence, definitely one you want to watch. And that's probably why it's headlining the prelims here. We did the shot for a reason. You're going to want to be a little intoxicated, or you're going to feel intoxicated after what we're about to witness come Saturday night in France. Now, Ivan Arslan is somebody that is very interesting to me. Making his UFC debut, we did our UFC fantasy draft, and that is somebody that I chose. Hindsight's always 2020. Should have picked Umar. Shout out Tigo Tech in the comments there for the enunciation update and correction. So I appreciate y'all. But man, Ivan Arslan, representing Croatia, fellow Scorpio. His birthday's coming up, November 15th. Shout out. 10 KOs to his name. I will admit, and why I think this is going to be just a sheer firefight, is he's not necessarily the most technically sound. You turn on the tape, you get captured, encapsulated by the big barrage of punches and the huge knockouts, and as Dana White likes to say, those holy shit moments. But he gets hurt, man. Or I should say he gets punched. Maybe he has a really, really good poker face, but to rely on that kind of style, the give one to get one, is only going to take you so far. And then Ion Cutelaba is a perfect example of someone that is going to let you hit him. Like, he's going to be there. He'll move at times, but after things get settled in, like, he could get flat-footed, and he maybe is less likely to move his head, and he may just have his hands out there and just trying to put leather to your face and just trying to hurt you any way he can, get his paws on you any way possible. But he's hittable. He's not this fluid, Bruce Lee, water-like fighter. Where Ivan, I think he can get, how do I say this, kind of lured, like Venus flytrapped into a false sense of confidence that, I got him hurt, I'm hitting him, I'm going to just empty the gas tank. No. This guy, Ion Cutelaba, as up and down, as tumultuous as his career's been, I mean, just look at the record. For 30-year-old to be 17-10, that's about as, 50-50 as you can get. But only 3 times has he been knocked out. 4 times submitted. Hey, that's obviously somewhere he's on a black belt. Let's just call a spade. But the Hulk can take a punch, and just like the Hulk indicates, he gets a little bit better the more he gets beat up. So I would choose those punches wisely. If you're an Ivan Arslan, hopefully the travel, hopefully the big stage of the UFC isn't going to be too much for you, and you could go out and you could stay measured, because I think that's really how you beat Ion Cutelaba. I guess Tigo Tech, I'm going to look at you now. You're now the enunciation expert. Let me know. Is it Eon? I guess with the O in there. But look at that Cutelaba.
Ion Cutelaba.
There we go. No need. Appreciate you, brother. Ion Cutelaba, the Hulk. Yeah, not someone you want to mess around with here, but I think there are some holes. You can grapple him. You can get him down. And I'm leaning the I guess the unknown. I'm going to go with Ivan Arslan, the Croatian sensation that's going to come in here and find a way to shock the world and make a name for himself. That's where I'm leaning. I could very much be wrong. This is virtually a pick'em according to Vegas, so don't take our word for it, ladies and gents. Stay away from it, honestly, if anything, and just enjoy the show. It's better that way.
Yes, it is better that way. I completely agree. It is better that way. So yeah, stay away from this one from a betting perspective. Hell, maybe even stay away from this one from a watching perspective. Maybe make this the time when you get up to pour a shot or grab yourself a beer. Either way, don't bet on or against Iwan, because either way, 90% of the time, you'll be unhappy every time. Moving into the next one, we have Faraz Zayam coming in against Matt, the Steamroller Frivola. Nano, you're going to take the lead on this one, brother. Let's hear who you got in this one. I love this fight.
Bro, this is a banger. This is an absolute banger. And I'm surprised to see that my boy Matt Steamroller Frivola is an underdog, but it's for a few reasons, okay? It's absolutely warranted. And I do think it's because his opponent is an absolute savage. Maybe it's a little bit of home court advantage built in here. Faraz Zayam is representing Francois. And, man, has he been really, really good? He's someone that I've been high on myself. I'm pretty sure I bet on him almost every time he's been out there, and you know his record is great, but let me just start at the top here. 27 years young, 15-4 record, 5 KOs, 4 subs. Dude finds a way to get it done. He is coming off a win his last fight. 6'1" here for the division. Very, very tall, lengthy guy, and he uses that to his advantage. Strong boxer, and he's getting better and better every time he gets in the octagon here with Faraz Zayam. But what I was saying was, up and down. I think I was against him when his fight against Terrence McKinney. He did end up getting choked out there, but he has since then been on a 3-fight win streak. Last one being a split decision. I don't know if that's just maybe the level of competition getting more and more increased, but this is it. Like, you are now faced with the who's of the who's, and personally, even though Matt Frivola is coming off a loss, even though Matt Frivola is 7 years older, and I typically lean the young guys here, I just got to go with I'm going to go against I guess the French people here, okay? I've been liking all the fighters so far. They're pumping them up, but we just saw UFC Noche. Just because it's in your backyard does not mean it's a guaranteed win. And if anyone's going to go out here and play spoiler, it's going to be Matt Frivola. If I'm taking a road dog, it's this guy. Okay, this son of a gun. These mitts travel, these carry-ons, and I'm holding my fist for you audio listeners. These are carry-ons, baby. I don't got to check these in. I mean, they heavy. I got permits for them now. But they're carry-on. They're with me right here. In fact, I'll get another seat for them just for extra precautionary reasons, okay? Jokes aside, Matt Frivola, man, I mean, just he's short, stocky, and he kind of has that Tyson boxing style where he's going to be in tight, not gonna overextend himself and rip the body, go up top. And I do think he's going to eventually hurt and crumble a Faraz Zayam. Not saying he's going to knock him out, but I do think just the overall compilation of body shots, of leg kicks, of putting 2, 3, 5, 7 punch combinations together, I think it'll be just an accumulation of damage here, and I think our boy Matt Frivola will find a way to get it done. Maybe a third round, maybe late finish, maybe a doctor stoppage. All to say though, Matt Frivola is gonna find a way to steamroll you, baby. Let's go. I'm gonna toss it over that. What you think, man?
I mean, I first and foremost, Nano, as always, great breakdown. Everybody, give this man a round of applause. Give it up for the turkey himself. Now, when it comes to this fight, I mean, the thing that I keep going back to is, I mean, Faraz Zayam, make no mistake about it, Smile Killer is exactly that. He is a smile killer. He's a crusher of dreams. He's just an absolute monster there when it comes to the kickboxing. But the difference in this is you've got a clean kickboxer who's going to keep you at range, throw long-range strikes, wait for you to come in, throw slicing elbows at you, versus someone who, as you said, he's not necessarily as strong or as clean as a Mike Tyson, but he does have that waste no energy, kind of like, I'm going to get in the pocket and I'm going to throw and land on your body. I'm going to make it hurt. I'm going to make you work. And after a few seconds of that, you're not going to be having a whole lot of fun with me in there. If I'm a Matt Frivola. And the thing is, like, when you go to the body, I like to call that stacking pennies for a rainy day, because that's exactly what it is, right? Like, you never know when you're going to need those pennies. That's why you stack them for a rainy day. Whenever they start coming on later and you're like, oh man, that really sucks. Like, he really landed in my head. That's when it's going to start setting in that they're tired, and that all of that real estate that you landed in rounds 1 and 2 are starting to pay off. Their ribs are starting to feel really tight. It's hard to draw oxygen in. The swelling is starting to set internally. Now, boom, you land another one. Boom, boom, you land another one. Boom, boom, you just keep fucking going to the rib cage. And before you know it, you've got some floaters in there. They've got some broken bones in there. It doesn't feel nice. Now, all this to say, I don't even think it's going to come down to who's a better striker in there, man. We're talking about someone who fights out of Ray Longo Serra gym. Right? He's going to go out there and he's going to use that Matt Serra style wrestling. I think that's going to be the big differentiator, right? You got a pure striker versus an actual mixed martial artist in Matt Frivola. I'm sorry, Tico Tech. I know you said I love Frivola, but inshallah, Zayam gets it done. I think Zayam is going to have a tough time, man. I think he's going to get taken down. And I think what it's all going to boil down to is he's just going to get outworked by Matt Frivola. I think Matt Frivola smokes hella weed all day. I mean, when he's not the steamroller, he's the weed roller, folks. But come Saturday night, Zayam is going to be the one that's going to feel like he's just puffing smoke and can't breathe. He is going to be suffocating. And he is going to feel like he is in absolute quicksand. I am absolutely taking Frivola in this one, and it's one of my more confident picks. The fact that you can get Frivola at plus 110 odds feels like highway robbery right now, folks. Eat that shit up, because I know I fucking will be. Nano, what are you thinking on the betting line on this one, bro? Minus 130 for Zayam, plus 110 for Matt Frivola money line.
Man, a really, really fun fight. Honestly, in terms of the odds itself, I'm not surprised. I guess I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but I can see the case for it. I mean, I'm definitely leaning Matt Frivola. I would take that money line all day, just straight up. You know, this is one that I don't know if I'm gonna include in a parlay as well. I don't think I would double down and say Matt Frivola is gonna win definitively, because it is close, right? I mean, this statistically, I think there are some advantages for Matt Frivola, but at the same time, like, Frezian does have a little bit of that violence. He has that extra gear. He doesn't have 4 inches of reach. Like, there's a path of victory for him as well. Maybe I'm looking at it with just kind of looking at it a little jaded, because I want Steamroller Frivola to go out there and get it done. But yeah, I guess, yeah, to answer your question, I like those odds. I mean, getting plus odds for Matt Steamroller Frivola, I don't feel like that happens often, so I'm going to take advantage of it if I can.
And I truly think that if he goes out there and gets it done in impressive fashion over somebody like I don't know, Faraz Zayam, probably be one of the last times that we get him at plus odds, because, I mean, he's a beast. He's just an unnoticed beast right now. So moving into the next one, we have Morgan Charrier, the last pirate, coming in against Gabriel Miranda. I like this fight for a number of reasons. The main reason being I haven't seen nearly enough of Morgan Charrier, the last pirate, and I want to see more. I want to see more from him. Also, Gabriel Miranda just so happens to be another fighter that I want to see more from. He's somebody that has had a canceled bout or 5 that I really wanted to see beforehand. But I digress, right? Rafael Silva, Dumar Roa twice got canceled. The big one, though, is Billy Quarantillo. I really wanted to see Gabriel Fly Miranda come in there and fight Billy Quarantillo. I thought that would have been a really fun matchup, and I also thought it would have been a really even, fair matchup for both men. But I digress. Got canceled. And now we get Morgan Charrier coming in against Gabriel Miranda. Now, Morgan Charrier, this is only his, I believe, third UFC fight. This will be his second UFC win if he gets it done. So his first UFC fight was against Manolo Zahina, and then the next one was against Chepe Mariscal. Of course, he had 2 canceled bouts as well in between those. So he had AJ Cunningham and Seung-Woo Choi that were both canceled in 2024. I will say that it's worth noting that in his win, he won a performance of the night bonus, and in his loss, he still won $50K for fight of the night bonus. So Morgan Charrier, make no doubt about it, win, lose, or draw, very exciting fighter. I think he's someone that's definitely worth watching. He is not young necessarily at 28 years of age in fight sports, but he's also not old. He still hasn't entered his prime yet. And in the 145-pound division, I think he can definitely be somebody to pay attention to. This will be a great test for him against Gabriel Miranda. Now, Gabriel Miranda, again, worth noting, the only person in the UFC to beat him is headlining this card. Talking about a Benny Saint-Denis. That's right, folks. Benoit Saint-Denis. And Benoit Saint-Denis actually got that highlight reel knockout with the right hook, followed up by a barrage of grounded strikes in round number 2 over Gabriel Fly Miranda. Since then, Gabriel Miranda came out and got the nasty rear naked choke in less than a minute over Shane Young. You know, the guy that comes out and does the face every time at the weigh-ins. You love to see it. Cameo by the cat paw over there. What up? What up? Oh, it's Buck Moose. He actually climbed to the top. What a beast.
Beast mode.
This guy. Love to see it. Old man Moose. Old man Moose.
Represent.
He's the best. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about this fight. Now, gun to my head, who do I have? I'm going to say Morgan Charrier. He is obviously one of the larger favorites on the card, sitting at minus 700. Am I going to place a bet on him? No, I don't necessarily think I will. A lot of people online think he's going to get it done via finish. And I mean, if you wanted to look into the finishing rounds or kind of the winning methods draws here, can get him for some decent stuff here, but only if you take him by sub, right? If you think he's going to get it done by sub, take him bet plus 1,000, folks. I'm not going to do it. But if you think he gets it done by knockout, you can get him at minus 160. Not terrible. And then if you take him inside the distance in general, you can actually get him at minus 175. I think that's probably the move if you wanted to bet on Charrier. But I'm not confident that he's going to go out there and be able to get a finish, right? I don't know. I like the last Pirate, but not enough to bet on him. There's not enough data in the system, in my opinion, of him versus UFC caliber fighters. I think Gabriel Miranda will be a good test. What are your thoughts, Nano?
I like it, brother. I like it. Gabriel Miranda is definitely going to be a really good test for our boy Morgan Charrier. Represent France as well. Another Frenchman in there. So getting the home court advantage, but you know, the record certainly indicates maybe he's more closer to like a 50-50 guy than like an undefeated guy. But again, let me start with Gabriel Miranda here. 17-6 record, 16 subs. I mean, this is a perfect example of styles make fights, and we're getting the true call it what you want. He's gonna go out there and try and take you down. You know, I'm not a one-trick pony. That feels a little bit too short-sighted, but Gabriel Miranda is a specialist, right? He is a ground game specialist, averages over 4 takedowns a fight. He's gonna try to get Morgan to the ground, but like you mentioned, haven't seen a lot of Morgan Charrier in the UFC, and this kind of challenge poses a very unique threat, right? Getting to the ground is one thing, and then once you're there, like, what kind of skill set does Morgan have, and can he keep it on the feet? Where we know if it's just a sparring boxing match or just a straight fight match, it's illegal to go to the ground. Morgan would have an absolute field day here. I think it's no doubt he would go out and use the strike and the great combinations that he throws, like MMAnomaly is displaying here for you, visual folks, and for the audio people. You're missing out on a show. Just think of me, myself, and Irene. You know, Jim Carrey just doing the old-fashioned bob and weave. But yeah, all jokes aside here, I do think Morgan Charrier should find a way to get it done. I do think that most times I would lean like the wrestler, but when you're like a true jiu-jitsu or true submission specialist, you know, like a Ryan Hall, maybe that's a little too extreme, but just that feels a little bit different. And I think Gabriel Miranda, although he can strike with the best of them and he's durable, I mean, we're looking at the over 1.5 rounds at minus 166 odds, so people think that's more likely than not, which is obviously respect to Gabriel Miranda as a fighter. Dude's a dog. 17 wins, 16 finishes. You know, as a professional fighter, I mean, that's what you want. However, I just think that the striking pedigree, and I do think that Morgan's ability to display his takedown defense in the past gives me enough confidence to like what I'm seeing and assume something's a guarantee in this game. Y'all know this. But I'm going to assume Morgan's going to find a way to get it done. Probably by decision, though. I don't think, hey, would a knockout victory be a great thing for Morgan's career? Absolutely. But Gabriel Moran is an absolute dog. I do see this probably going over, probably going to a decision. Fun 15 minutes back and forth. I think, but I do think the difference maker will be the takedown defense for Morgan. And Gabriel, I mean, you got to have an answer, right? You got to be able to keep up with the striking barrage that you're going to see from a Morgan. Even just looking at the sheer numbers here. But going with the Frenchman, I'm back on the train, man. He's going to find a way to get it done.
You and me both, brother. We're back on the train. I definitely think that Charrier is going to find a way to get it done today. Or Saturday, for that matter. Gotta say, I just peeked over at the DraftKings Sportsbook odds, and I got the notification saying that Nora Cornole's odds have already shifted down. So she's at plus 170 now.
No shit.
Just a heads up, when I sent you the receipts for the bet, she was plus 180. So already down 10 points. Folks, the line's shifting on the second underdog we bet on tonight. I'm just saying, maybe we know something Vegas didn't know.
Oh, they're listening. We see you. You ain't sly. At least wait a little bit longer. Wait till after the live stream, y'all. We see you.
We're watching, bro. We're watching, and we know you're watching. Okay. All right. This next one is. We're breaking into the real threshold here, folks. Breaking into the real threshold of the main card.
It's time.
It's time, Bruce. It's time, Nano. It's time for us to talk about this fucking main card. And I'll be honest with you, man. This main card is it's lean and it is mean, son. It's a very small main card, right? It's only 4 fights, but I digress. I think that this is a very, very exciting one. Or I guess the main card, they split it in a weird way. I guess they're calling the main card starting at Matt Frivola. 3, 4, 5, 6. They're saying it's a 6-fight main card? No. It should be early prelims, main card should be in the top 4 or 5 break. In my opinion.
Yeah, probably 5. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to know how they're breaking it down. I mean, it's not a pay-per-view, so it's not like you're having to financially invest into the main card, quote unquote. So yeah, I guess I'm curious here. There's 14 fights on here, so and it's typically 5 or 6 for a main.
5. Like 4 early prelims, 5 prelims, 5 main cards. But
I guess that's what's throwing it off. There's no early prelims. It's just
exactly. It's weird. There's nothing listed as early prelims online. Super weird.
I'm familiar with an early pre, but all these pre's, it's a lot of pre, bro.
A lot of pre, bro. A lot of pre-gaming.
One might say that's just. Please digress before I go off track here.
Hey, yo, man.
Well, cut it.
Love to see that. Cut it off. With that being said, this next one is probably. Yeah, this is definitely in my top 3 fights of the night. Now, I think Faraz Zayam versus Matt Frivola has fight of the night potential. But this is the sleeper of the card for me. You know I'm talking about Kevin Jousset versus Brian Battle. Oh, man. I am excited about this card. I'm excited about this fight. The Pooh Bear. He dropped the Pooh Bear, and now he's the Butcher. You love to see it. Oh, it's shot time, I think. It's shot o'clock. We're going to pour one up for this sleeper fight. This is my sleeper pick of the night here. Kevin Jousset is obviously fighting out of home field turf. A little bit of home field advantage for the young man. But Brian Battle, I really, really like his chances. We'll go ahead and do our shot before I give my breakdown here. Again, as always, if you drink. If you don't. We appreciate you. No shunning here. We just appreciate you for hanging out with us. Cheers to you folks. You're the real ones.
And if you're breathing air, like and subscribe.
And if you're not breathing air, call 911, and then like and subscribe.
And tell the EMT to do it as well.
Please.
Come on.
We
need you. Come on.
Come on. So look, Kevin Doucette is an absolute monster. So is Brian Battle. Now, when I was doing my research here, obviously I knew one thing. I knew one thing without having to do any research, and that was that Brian the Butcher Battle, fighting out of Carolina Combat Sports, only has one loss to his name in the UFC, and that is, of course, a loss to Renato Moicano. Now, you hate to see it, but Renato Moicano is an absolute fucking monster of a man and would beat probably like 90% of the roster, maybe 95% of the roster, in or outside the UFC. And if you disagree with me, fight me, bro. Look, here's the thing, guys. I just think that was a bad stylistic matchup for him. And again, 95% of the fucking division. But where I was in shock a little bit here, Nano, and I don't know if you even know this, correct me if I'm wrong. Kevin Doucette, if you look at his last 10 fights, usually I like to do a last 5 fight lookup. I dove a little bit deep for this one, for funsies, as the kids say. And this is what I found. Just 10 fights ago, just 10 short fights ago, Nano, do you know who Doucette's second to last loss was to?
I do not. Update me and the people, because I'm sure I'm not alone.
Jackie, 3 names. Jack Della Maddalena, outside of the UFC. Yeah. Jack Della Maddalena got a doctor stoppage on him in round 2 at Eternal MMA 48. He didn't knock him out. He just sliced him up real good. And then the only other one after that was a championship fight against Caleb Rideout. His actual last name is Rideout. Rideout. Can't make it up, folks. And he lost that one via split decision. Since then, he's been on a bit of a tear. Shuriken Fight Series 13. I've never heard of the promotion, but I wish I had, because what a fucking name. My goodness. That was where he went next. Beat a dude named James Crockwell. Then he went to Hex Fight Series. Beat another guy. Another Hex Fight Series after that. Beat another guy. Then they gave him a chance in the UFC. He beat a dude named Kiefer Crosby, which you probably saw if you were watching the early prelims, because they had those, on UFC 293. Adesanya versus Strickland. I believe if you peep, boom, right here. Yeah, there's a poster right there from that one. Sad night if you were an Adesanya fan. Even sadder night if you were a Taito Ivasa fan. But I digress. After that, one of the UFC Fight Night, Song versus Gutierrez, and beat Song Kenyon, who was somebody that had fought Ian Gary before then. So very impressive wins for Kevin Air Doucette. Now, all of that to say, he's no Renato Moicano, and I think Brian the Butcher Battle, with his freestyle style of fighting, is going to go out there and get the win. One man is 11-2, is Brian Battle. The other man, Kevin Doucette, is 10-2. One more fight worth of experience. Also, just a more well-rounded skill set, right? You have Kevin Doucette, who has 5 TKOs, 4 decisions, 1 submission. So obviously, he's more of a heavy-handed fighter that if push comes to shove, he can get it done by a decision. Doesn't necessarily like to lean on the submissions. That being said, he's never been submitted, so that's promising too. He has lost by knockout. He has lost by decision. Across from him, his opponent's only ever been subbed or beaten by decision 1 time each. He has 6 submissions to his name, 2 decisions, and 3 TKOs. I think if we're looking like really scraping here for some fun odds that are juicy as all fucking get out, I mean, talk me off my crazy poll here, man. I like Brian Battle to win by submission in a weird way. Plus 450.
That's interesting. I mean, he does have 5 subs under from his 10 wins. That is half the time Sir Brian Battle is in a battle. He ends the battle.
And if you don't like that,
choke.
I mean, I'll sprinkle a little bit more salt on the wound here. Plus 250 will get you Brian Battle inside the distance. So to get it done by sub, by TKO, by DQ, or by KO. What are your thoughts on that one?
I like it. I'm finding a way to fit him in my card, and if you're gonna get a little bit juicier odds than his minus 160 or minus 180 that our boy Brian Battle is at currently, then I would take it. I do like Brian in this fight. I'd be remiss not to mention that our boy Kevin Josette, another Frenchman, but he fights with those boys living in the land down under. I'm talking about Israel Adesanya and all of those cats. That solid crew where iron sharpening iron on a daily basis. I do think that's something that's worth noting. Okay, he has a good fight camp. He's beat a Kanan Song, so to me, it's like he's answered the bell. Not fully, right? There's obviously levels to this, and the Brian Battle is honestly kind of the next step up from a Kanan Song that feels appropriate. It's like, hey, you beat someone like him. Now let's see if you could beat. I see your hand there. I'm gonna go ahead and raise you a little bit, and that's what a Brian Battle is. Good temperature check, good heat check for a Kevin Josette. And if anyone's gonna want to try to steal the hype train, it's gonna be a Brian Battle, right? He's someone that gives 0 Fs, left them at home. I don't think he ever had them, to be honest. And someone that we saw at International Fight Week, not at the event itself, but at Twin Peaks. So shout out to Twin Peaks. Please sponsor us.
He was in rare form.
In rare form. Said what up to us, gave us a quick saw, with what I could only assume is ginger ale in a cup with ice, and man, but aside from that, because obviously we're biased now, so maybe I should have led with that caveat, is that I'm going to be talking from a biased perspective because we met Brian, we're boys now. I just told you the interaction. Obviously, we're best friends, and I can never bet against him ever again in my life. So again, pulling out a second mortgage. Gonna bet on my boy Double B. But jokes aside, I just think, man, he has that kind of just special power. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, dude just has a way to just hurt people when he puts his fists on your face, and that's as simple as it is. Now, I do think Kevin, who's the more active fighter, I think that's something that I'm going to be watching here is the more active guy. And Kevin just said, is he going to still be active when he has someone that he knows is throwing hard, calculated, measured, and damaging and potentially fight-ending punches? A lot of ways to describe what Brian Battle does, but he's a fun fighter. And again, his skill set really gives a lot of people problems. So I'm gonna go with my boy here, Brian Battle, to get it done. But if anyone's gonna upset me, and upset in the sense of just betting perspective, it'd be a Kevin Josette. That'd be an underdog. I do like if he just wasn't fighting my boy Brian Battle. If we didn't have that interaction, if maybe I was a little more pessimistic, or just, hey, maybe if this was a few years ago, I'd be saying, hey, that fight camp is untouchable. Alex is champ, Izzy's champ. These guys are on top of the world. What are we talking about? The Taffa brothers, Olberg, come on. But look at the timestamp, ladies and gents. We're in 2024. Okay, we're rolling into 2025 real quick. Times are changing, okay? And if there's one constant, it's that I guess the guy that has proven it before is probably going to go in there and prove it again. And that's my boy Brian Battle. Case closed, baby. Signed, sealed, delivered. But again, it won't be a surprise if... this is a close matchup, y'all. This is a really fun one. It is the Coco main event for a reason. Coco main event for a reason. It's on the main card for a reason. Tune in, y'all.
Yeah, this is my sleeper pick of the night. I think this just has fireworks written all over it. I like Brian Battle in this one, but Kevin Josette is a dog in every facet of the word. Now, moving into the next one, we have William Gomes coming in against Joanderson Brito. Oh man, oh man, oh man, which this is another fun banger of a fight before we get into the co-main and main events here. Nano, tell us who you like in this one against Brito versus Gomez.
Let's go. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Am I coming in quick? Okay, cool. Okay, I lost my headset there. And that's the downside of having the gosh darn plug-in is you got to deal with the wire itself. But now that I'm back in and plugged in here, what a fun fight, right? This is the actual Coco main event. We got in the featherweight division, William Gomis, the hometown kid, representing France. And man, 6'1" as a 145er is absolutely bonkers. Dude uses all of his size to his advantage. 27 years young, 13-2 record, 7 KOs, 1 submission for the Frenchman. Dude's nice, man. He uses, like I said, that length to his advantage. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Don't let him get a hold of your back. But man, did they not do him a single favor in booking him against a tough, angry, bowling ball looking human being in the Joanderson Brito. I mean, this guy is just violence in a Brazilian package, okay? I was going to make a joke, but not going to get too dirty here. Joanderson Brito, the betting favorite. I was going to say Brazilian strip there, but man, somebody that...
Were you not able to hit the landing strip on that joke?
I'm just going to wax it completely off.
That happens to the best of us.
I love it. If you ain't trying, then I don't know what you're doing, baby, but we're going to keep reaching. But no, again, Jonas Brito, I mean, dude, again, I can't reiterate enough. Just a fighter that you love to tune on and watch the tape of. Looks angry, looks like he wants to go out there and beat you up and maybe steal your lunch money as well while he's at it. I like everything I've seen from him. I'm a little more familiar with his game, and so maybe that's why I'm leaning towards a Joanderson Brito. Do find it interesting when I'm looking at some of the weights, at least according to UFC.com, which, hey, going straight to the source here, they have him listed at 167, maybe a 170 pounder. So is he a tweener? Is he someone that has to cut a lot of weight? It makes sense because he's a big boy, jam-packed, a lot of muscle mass. But he wears it well. He's a great athlete, and he's explosive. And when he decides to start throwing, and he has a great ground game as well. Like let's not sleep on the Joanderson Brito. Before I toss it back over to you, he's 29 years old, 17-3 record, 8 KOs, 7 submissions, and he beat a Jackie Shore. He beat Jack Shore. I mean, that's really my one note with Joanderson Brito, outside of just him being an angry little MFer. It was my other note. I just think he's going to find a way to upset a lot of the country here and I guess uphold that. Let's see the betting minus 298, about a minus 300 favorite, pretty much close to a lock as you can get. But it's not a guarantee, right? Never a guarantee. So don't want to sound too wishy-washy. I'm going with the Joanderson Brito here. Probably with him in a parlay with someone else because I do feel that good about him. One of my few picks here. That's not an underdog like we started off the card with. But what do you think, brother? Do you think Joanderson's going to go in here and play upset in the hostile territory? Or do you think William Gomis is going to have a way to get it done?
Yeah, I think Joanderson Brito is going to come out there and probably get the upset in enemy territory here. I just think Joanderson Brito is the better fighter here, even though he has the 1-inch reach deficit. I've seen Gomis get tagged by lesser strikers, and I mean, for lack of better words, and at the risk of sounding untechnical in my breakdown here, because you did such a fucking stellar job on your end, I don't really have a whole lot to add. I'm just gonna say that Brito's a nasty guy, dude. He's just a nasty fighter. The way that he moves, the way that he gets inside. And I think he's going to prove to be a problem for somebody like a William Gomis. Gomis, when he fights, he stands. I don't know if you can hear me okay when I back up like that, but he stands cool. He stands pretty upright, right? And that's a problem for somebody that moves forward with their head tucked, like a Joanderson Brito, who will shuffle in and move forward. And if your head's up, he's going to push you back. And I've seen in previous fights, William Gomis have this tendency of when he does get hit, it's almost like a Ronda Rousey effect, right? Where when you're not used to getting hit in sparring, maybe you're better than all the people that you're sparring with, or you're doing a lot of grappling on them, and that's working on them, and it's not working on your opponent in the actual fight. So you're not used to taking a hit. The worst thing you could possibly do when you eat a shot is this, because if you put your head up, I'm rocking your shit, and if I hit you, it's not even this, it's the scrambling, it's the recoil, right? And that's why they tell you tuck your chin, and they give, like, a lot of old school boxing coaches will tell you to put like a tennis ball under your neck and hold it whenever you're throwing strikes. So that way, if it drops, you got to restart, right? Because your chin has come too far up. And that trains really good habits. So that way, when you do eat a shot, you don't do this and move away. Darren Till is another person that would drive me fucking bonkers when he does that thing. The only person I've ever seen move their head effectively like that is probably like an Israel Adesanya. And even then, it's proven to not go so great for him in some fights where people make the read. So I think this is going to be one of those situations where Brito comes in, he's going to be a quicker shuffling movement, and he's going to land the bigger shots in the pocket, maybe go low, like with a 1-2 to the body, and then come over the top. And when he goes low, again, you're going to see a William Gomez drop his hands and lift his head. And when that happens, you're just basically stretching your neck and leaving everything open to get scrambled whenever I nail you with one, whether it's here, or here, right? Yeah, give me Brito on this one. I'm going to stay away from it from a betting perspective because minus 298 doesn't look super juicy. And I also am not 1,000% on the fact that he's going to go out there and get it done by knockout. But if you were going to bet on it, I would probably take Joe Anderson Brito inside the distance. I do think the guy is a nasty, nasty good fighter. And even though his opponent, William Gomez, the Sanda style fighter, is good, I don't think he's really been tested against somebody like a Joe Anderson Brito, who has, as Nano eloquently pointed out, gotten a win over Jack Shore. And not only a win over Jack Shore, but a doctor stoppage win over Jack Shore. Just nasty stuff. And before then, as Renato Moicano put it, the other white guy who's good, Jonathan Pierce. That was the guy he beat before then. So really solid fighter in Tubarão, Joe Anderson Brito. I think Shoot the Box is making a great rise again, and you love to fucking see it, kid. You love to see it. So we'll go ahead and move into the next fight because I think we're in alignment on that one. And this one is the co-main event of the evening, folks. We got Nassourdine Imavov coming in against Brendan All-In Allen. You know I got to get the glove and show it off every time this guy fights or gets mentioned.
Let's go, baby. That is him in the flesh, baby. BA. You got the pics to prove it.
Just follow us on Twitter if you want to see those pics and search our name plus Brendan Allen. And you will see them. So, folks, it's not going to be a huge surprise here who I'm taking. I love Nassourdine Imavov. You know I'm taking Brendan All-In Allen here. I think the fact that this is a 3-round fight versus a 5-round fight actually serves Brendan Allen a little bit better. Because when we did see Nassourdine Imavov in his last 5-round fight, he actually started to get better as the fight went on. A la Max Holloway, a la Dustin Poirier, right? Whereas Brendan All-In Allen is more of an all-in kind of style fighter, right? Associated with the nickname very appropriately. Apropos, if you will, he goes all in the first few rounds and then leaves himself a little bit withered in the final round. So this being a 3-round fight again severely benefits Brendan All-In Allen. I do think I'd be a little bit more worried betting on Allen if this were a 5-round fight. But even so, I'd probably still bet on the guy with the Louisiana spirit. I just think he's going to go out there and get it done. And I'm bullish on the fact that I think he possibly, call me crazy here, gets it done via submission. And you can get that currently at plus 600 odds, folks. I'm not sure what Nano's thinking here, but again, before I pass it over, just going to sprinkle a little bit more here. I think some things that are really worth noting is the fact that, Nassourdine Imavov is obviously a grappler, striker. He likes to fight his way into the grappling realm. But make no mistake about it, he's actually a pretty damn good striker. But then you have Brendan Allen, whose only real losses have come to Curtis Chris Curtis, the Action Man, who he just got that one back, and Sean Strickland. Not really terrible losses, in my opinion, considering both guys are top 15 caliber. Imavov is a little bit newer to the game. Has only been finished 25% of the time when he loses, right? He's lost 3 by decision, 1 by submission. But if you look at Brendan All-In Allen, this motherfucker is exactly that. He's a real motherfucker. He has won 14 fights by submission and 5 by knockout. I just think that he is a submission machine. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu constantly gets slept on. And I just don't think that the sniper Nasruddin Imavov is going to have good enough grappling negation skills to keep Brendan All-In Allen off of him. I think he'll defend the takedown for the first 3 minutes. Allen will get on him after that. He'll start to sap that energy, and then I think he gets the sub probably about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes into the second round. Nano, what are your thoughts?
I love it, brother. I love it. And I'm all in on our boy Brandon Allen as well. BA, big fan. We met him. And I think maybe we need to clarify that we did not, we were not there when he got into his little kerfuffle with Martin Vittori. I think we do need to call that out because that was absolute madness. That was not the same instance, not the same weekend. In fact, I feel like that was somewhat recent. The fact that he's fighting so soon, I'm like, God, I felt like yesterday. I thought I saw him out and about just getting a little reckless with our boy Martin Vittori. But for those that don't know, there's video footage of him essentially doing what you might have seen in your middle school or high school, where there's a group of people, there's some ruckus, someone says, everyone back up, give them space, and then you see 2 guys throwing hands. It's, tale as old as time. And that tells me that Brandon's fired up, okay? He's someone that is all in. He's ready to go at all times, okay? Do you have a shirt idea? Remind me to tell you about that after with Brandon and the Gambit, representing Louisiana.
Lego.
Because that's where he's fighting out of, and that's where he hails from. And he's getting the purple shorts as well. Fun fact with our boy BA, getting the custom nod. Only other person that had purple shorts was Ian Machado Gary. I think he's going to look a little bit better in them. But again, as I'm stalling here, because I do think that BA has a great chance to win. I do think that if he can stick to his game plan, stick to the 1-2s, and just find his opportunities, choose them wisely for a Nasruddin, whether he overextends or if you're catching some trends, right? Obviously, that's where you go to the tape. And if you say, okay, when he switches stances, when he throws this kick, I'm going to counter with this, get to the leg. But we need to see a well-rounded mixed martial art game plan from our Brendan Allen. Can't just go out there and fight with the Nasruddin Imavov for 15 minutes, for 25 minutes, for 5 minutes. You just simply don't want to be a sitting target for him. He gets better over time. And really, the thing with Nasruddin Imavov, I mean, if it was anyone else here besides my boy BA, what I would be telling you is just how absolute crazy he's looked in the last 2 fights. Like, he really earned my respect. Nasruddin did in his fight against Roman Dolidze, and then what he did to Jared Cannonier. I mean, I know he's getting older. I know Jared Cannonier, I don't know. Maybe he's polarizing. Maybe you think he's great. Maybe you don't. But like the way he was able to put him out in the 4th round like that, to carry that kind of pressure, power, really, but to keep applying pressure like that for 20 minutes, to apply both words appropriately, man, it is one of those things. Represent France as well. Another Frenchman, tough as nails in his backyard. It's all stacked up against Brandon All-In Allen, but hey, man. You know what? Sometimes if we're playing poker, maybe you do got to go all in with that 8-9 offsuit. It's not pocket aces, but you know what? Gosh darn it, it feels right, and I got to do it. So, all to say, Imavov, he scares me, especially in the clinch. So I think that's one thing. Like, Brandon needs to make sure he uses the octagon. I don't believe it's in the apex, so it's not going to be smaller, which helps him out. Because if Nasruddin, you're going to want to back him up, but if he's up against the fence, if he's in the clinch, he's nasty. He's going to try to hurt you. Like, he's one of those guys, like, any opportunity he has, he's going to be trying to land offense. So, Brandon Allen, stay smart, stay disciplined. We've seen you get a little buck wild, but hey, man, stick to the game plan, and everything's right out there for him. Like, if he could go out there and win, it doesn't have to be dominant, it doesn't have to be some crazy finish, stay in his game, and I think you look at, the Bilal Muhammads of the world, right? It's like the Leon Edwards or people, Pantoja, champions, Amara, where it's like, hey, yeah, you're not getting a ton of knockouts, but you just are a great mixed martial artist. You obviously have a advantage in a certain area. Go ahead and expose that. Go ahead and do that, because I don't think Imavov, even though he does have 4 subs under his belt as well, I mean, Brandon Allen was able to submit a Paul Craig and an Andre Muniz. I mean, the list goes on. Dude's talented. He's next level. He's cerebral when it comes to that realm. So give me our boy Brandon Allen, probably by decision. Or, I guess, honestly, I wonder what the odds are for a sub, but that's certainly where I'm leaning. I'm not even going to mess around with any other double odds, anything. I'm just going to go all in on the sub, or just all in money line for my boy BA. Let's go, baby.
Love it. Absolutely fucking love it, baby. The money line for BA.
Plus 180. It's juicy enough as it is.
Juicy enough, baby. It's juicy enough. We'll take those odds. Take those odds all fucking day, kids. And with that being said, we are moving into the main event of the evening. And before we do that, actually, I got to dwell a little bit. So we do have a first of its kind fantasy MMA league. It's kind of like fantasy football. I'm pulling the points manually using the DraftKings scoring system here. I actually have 2 fighters going this weekend. I believe I got Brendan All-In Allen.
Nice pick.
And I also got Renato Moicano in this main event. So we got Renato Moicano coming in against Saint-Denis, Benoit, Saint-Denis. Not, I'll let you take the lead on this one while I look up who else has fighters going this weekend.
Let's go. Well, I'll save you a little bit of time. I do have a fighter going this weekend as well. I got my boy Ivan Erslan going in against Ion Kutalaba. I feel nervous about it. Again, I should have picked Umar, to be honest. But I'm sticking to my guns. What are you going to do? Well, there's a lot of pressure. It's a draft. Other people are picking. You just don't always get the one you want. You get into your game plan and things happen. But Renato Money Moicano sitting here at a plus 235 underdog. Looks gosh darn juicy, right? It looks gosh darn juicy. Now, I know what you're thinking. All right, you Vegas odd makers. I know what you're going to say. So you're going to say, hey, Jalen Turner pretty much got himself the loss because he had the victory over Renato, but he walked away because he had quote-unquote PTSD from the Bobby Green or King Green fight. That is not hyperbole. That is essentially what he said, which is a wild thing to try to, I guess, put blame on or try to validate why you didn't do what you need to do, and it's fight until the judge tells you not to fight anymore. So I think it's just my boy Jalen. That's an L, my guy. That's a rip. Can't be talking like that. And but I think it's also goes to show what a Renato Moicano, what kind of guy he is, right? Didn't quiver, didn't check out. He said, okay, you may have got me. Come on down here, which Jalen didn't want to, which I do think is Renato's advantage here. Benoit Saint-Denis represent France as well. Another Frenchman here, 28 years old for Benoit. He is going to be 7 years younger than Renato. He does also have 9 subs in comparison to Renato's 10 subs. So it's not like he's going to be a fish out of water when it comes to the ground game. However, I just have a little bit more faith in my boy Renato Money Moicano. Now, man, Benoit Saint-Denis is a son of a gun. He is a unique individual. He is cut from a different cloth. He is a special agent for France. So shout out to them. Shout out to all special forces, all law enforcement, all military, anybody that serves their justice or serves their country and is all about justice. But he's one of those guys. So it's like someone you want to root for. Obviously, we've seen him fight against our boy DP.
Sorry, better late than never on the
Hey, let's go, baby.
Allen photos here, folks. Was working on that off to the side.
Let's go. Love that.
Let's go.
Great picks,
And there's the glove that he signed right there, folks. Just so you know, we ain't bullshitting.
You fire.
You hear me?
And the hair's a little bit longer. I just got the haircut today. I'm trying to get used to it. A little bit more clean.
I was gonna say it's looking nice, dude. It's looking cleaned up.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it is. You still got some of the flows, but it's minimal. It's clean, nice and tamed. You know, a little easier. I digress. Enough stalling. I'm leaning my boy Renato, but again, Benoit Saint-Denis is extremely well-rounded. He's tough as nails. He has all the skills as well. And I guess, to be honest, where the odds are probably, I guess, weighted the way they are is because like he has some tough power. Like he is a strong guy. He can go out there and hurt you. And we've seen Renato get hurt, right? Like we've seen Jalen hurt him. So I'm sure if you're making the odds here, you're probably seeing a Benoit that just on paper should be able to get it done. But Renato will tell you, hey, even though we're making paper on the fight ain't on paper, okay? It's in the octagon. It's in real life. And it's about who can be tougher and who can be better that night. And I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to go the underdog. Maybe just because I'm a sicko. But you know what? I'm also having a little fun here. All jokes aside, like, obviously doing our best to break it down for you. And I'm not sitting here yelling at the rooftop that Renato's the best fighter in the world. He's going to make, child's play of a BSD. No. It's going to be a very tough fight. Being very politically correct here. But again, I'm leaning my boy. We're in the fight game. We're here for entertainment as well, right? We're not analysts. We're not pundits, even though we're doing some punditry. So why not go for guys you like? And Renato's someone you want to root for. He's funny. He has the pod with Gilbert Burns and Matty Betts. Like, just someone that, again, even when it comes to the skills too, like he backs it up. I didn't think he was gonna beat Jalen Turner. So you beat Jalen Turner, I can't bet against you now, unless Benoit is just obviously that guy, which he's proven to be. But again, our boy DP said, there's levels. And I think Renato's still kind of closer to a DP level than he is maybe the latter. Those are my 2 cents, my brother. It's a fun one. I'm going to be tuned in here for this weekend. Couldn't have asked for a funner matchup here, both for the co-main and main event. But curious to hear your thoughts. Are you with me? Are you riding the underdog train? Or are you a little bit more level-headed? You're going to tell the viewers how, hey, man, don't always go with your heart, go with your brain. And are you on BSD? Talk to me, brother. Where you enough suspense, man. Lay it on us.
Well, I mean, I'm with you. I got Renato on my picks. So
let's go.
I gotta be with you, bro. I mean, my brother. Yeah, I got Renato Moicano this week. I got Tatsuro Taira next week. I mean,
I like it.
Wait, did I not pick Renato Moicano? I don't think I did actually pick Renato. I didn't. Oh no. Wait, does somebody else have Renato Moicano? Hold on.
Who's your lightweight? I don't think anyone picked him.
He shit the bed. Manuel Torres. He was my second pick. I don't think anybody picked him.
Yeah,
but Drew picked Benoit Saint-Denis.
I think that's why. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, "That's tough."
That's tough. Yeah, Drew picked Benoit Saint-Denis. I do have Brendan Olin Allen on this card, and I know somebody. I think it was Hiram picked against me with Nasruddin. I know somebody picked Nasruddin against me. I just need to find out who it was. Oh, it was Mary. You think know someone. You know someone. She shook Brendan's hand. She shook his hand. Oh, no. Oh, what are you going to do?
Ruthless, man. Ruthless.
I seen it. I seen you, Mary.
I seen it.
You was
I seen
ruthless.
you shake his hand, man. I seen it.
I seen you shake his hand.
He's ruthless, man. He's ruthless, man. He was ruthless.
Hey.
He was ruthless back there.
Oh,
I'm surprised we didn't catch that before. That's hilarious.
Tico Tech said, I
People
see
don't
the
forget.
moose. I see the moose.
Shit.
He's circling around me like a piranha right now. He wants me to either cuddle him or let him out.
Moose fired up.
We're
almost done, Moose. We're almost done, big guy.
Let's see. Drew said, Tico Tech said, Drew is cringe for wearing a McGregor shirt. Imagine.
It's Drew.
I'm hating on
Come
Drew
on, what
hard
you
tonight,
expect?
LMAO. Love you, Drewski. If you see
There you
this.
go. There you go. It's from a good place. L for love.
L for love.
I don't think that's what that means. No, I think so.
I don't think that's what that means. I'm almost sure that that's not what that
Pretty
means.
sure.
Oh man, this main event is something else, man. I'm definitely on Renato Moicano here. I just think, look, Benoit Saint-Denis, look, dude, like he gets this dope rep for being the god of war. Oh, I didn't hear no bell. Mickey, get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves ya. Oh, dude, I'm pouring up a shot for that. That's literally my favorite line from the entire Rocky series. And Jock Director just comes in here.
I was just say, Jock, great to see you again. Let's go.
It's the sweep right there, bro. Let's go. Hey,
We're on the main card here, but
I didn't hear no bell ring. One more round, Tommy. One more round.
You try knocking him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now?
Hey, you knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down?
You find the ring. My ring's outside. All right, let's go, baby. That's my favorite spot. My ring's outside.
I love that.
Tommy,
line. Touch me and I'll sue. Sue me for what?
Sue me for what? That is the best. Touch me, not sue. Hey, man.
Rock. What a blow.
I was saying, but Jock, great to see you. We got 19 others in here live. LFG, capital letters, bold. Let us know y'all's picks. You know, let us know what you think. Who you're rocking with? Are you with me and Olin on some of the underdogs? Are we talking crazy? Either way, taking a quick drink because we thirsty. We talking a lot. Cheers to the new friends. Don't be crazy. To the old friends, Jock, great to have you back. To the regs, to the old, to the new. Onward and upward, baby. Cheers.
Let's go, folks. Keep on going. Keep on growing.
And in honor of Paris, and just feels like a city of love. We love some violence around here, baby.
We really do.
Let's go.
Let's go. We out here, baby. We out here. So yeah, as I was saying, I like Renato in this fight. I do think he gets it done. So to make a long-winded rant a little bit shorter, Benoit Saint-Denis, he gets this crazy cool rep for being the god of war, right? Like he's this beast, he's this god of war in general, because he was in the military. He's actually killed people, and for whatever reason, people are like, "That's fucking cool, dude. That's metal." Look. I grew up shooting guns. My dad was in the military. My uncle was in the military. There's a difference between going to war and killing people with guns and getting into a cage with zero weapons other than these, your legs and your knees, and essentially using your body as the weapon and going against somebody else that's equally as trained as you, maybe more. Benoit Saint-Denis is somebody that strikes me as very strong. And as a result, he doesn't necessarily have to learn all of the techniques and all of the foundations and all of the fundamentals. Almost like a prodigal guitarist who, you know, like Eddie Van Halen's son comes out of the fucking womb. He's like, wow, just fucking shredding. But then you give him an acoustic guitar that's not in drop D fucking tuning, and he's like, what's a G chord? I just know how to play solos. Like, he doesn't know how to play the chords. He doesn't know the foundations. He doesn't know the basics. And because of that, without an amplifier and some cool fucking effects, he's actually kind of a show pony. I kind of feel the same about Benny Saint-Denis in a weird way. I said it going into the Poirier fight. You can check the record, but I said the same shit then. I just think that he's a bit overhyped for what he is, whereas Renato Moicano is somebody that he's earned it. He's fought along the way. He's also 35 years of age, which he's no spring chicken, right? But at the same time, I would say he's kind of entering his fight prime right now. So he's tried and tested. As the Huggies commercials, he's kid tested, mother approved, bro. Like he's fucking ready to go, kid. And, you know, I've listened to the podcast. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says. I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that. I think if my dad had to sum it up, he would probably use a quote that he said about me growing up. And that's, you know, sometimes you don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed to be the most used or the most efficient. And I think Renato Moicano is very, very game bred when it comes to fighting. He's somebody that locks the fuck in as soon as that cage door locks. And I think that if we look at how this fight is truly going to end up breaking down, I think it's going to come down to the fact that, sure, a southpaw has weapons against an orthodox style fighter, but what happens when that orthodox style fighter is a jiu-jitsu specialist and you're a grappler overall? Like, sure, Benoit Saint-Denis, he is a mixed martial artist. He does have striking skills. Do you remember what happened when he tried to strike with DP? Didn't go so well.
Boy, do I.
Didn't go so fucking well, right? Keep him at bay, boom, boom, and then you're done. We saw Renato landing pretty big shots against somebody that's a much better Muay Thai fighter. When it comes to, gosh, who was that? Oh, that's right. Rafael fucking Fiziev. Right? A lot of people remember that fight being one-sided. I don't think that fight was as one-sided as people remember it being. And then since then, like, again, I mean, I know it only lasted one round, but it was also 21-15 on strikes. Like, he was landing his own up until the moment that fight stopped. Since then, he's been on a fucking tear. His next fight, he got a 44-second finish. After that, he got a finish in the second round. After that, he went out there and got a finish over Alexander Hernandez. And then, of course, you know, bit of a halted or stunted progression by Rafael dos Santos, but most people lose to RDA. Come on. So yeah, no. Give me Renato Moicano in this. Give me money, as he says. Come on. You already know what it is, baby. I'm excited about this one, man. I think this is going to be a great test for the young man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I agree. I may not know a lot, but I do know one thing. These fights are going to be some bangers. 14.
Bangers.
Is it starting at a different time, or is it going to be the same? I guess I'm always confused, but I assume they always appease us here in the States.
So it's actually an early fight card. It is a 9 a.m. start time, 12 o'clock noon.
Oh, perfect.
For the main card.
There we go.
I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it at all.
Wake up to some violence on Saturday. Let's go. Swap out the cartoons for some violence. LFG, baby.
No one's mad about it.
Not in the slightest.
Man. I'm super excited about this one. Now, time to move into the DraftKings, and then we'll do a quick little recap of our underdogs. Nano, do you have anything on DraftKings for the people this week? I'll let you lead at the front.
Here we go. You know, did not have anything prior to our conversation this week, but there's a few that I do like. I know we were talking about those underdogs earlier. I'm sure we'll probably end up putting something like that together, whether it's, a Chris Duncan early on. There's another underdog that I'm liking. Frivola, for sure. And then, I mean, shoot. My boy BA, maybe Renato as well. I might, put together something like that, a little underdog card. But just straight money line. I guess my picks this week, maybe try to go a little different here, because I think doing all the parlays and stuff, getting too cutesy with it, it's just simply not the way. But give me Victor Alamirano, excuse me. At minus 125, I'm taking him. VA. I do think Taylor Lopoulos will win as well. Give me TL at minus 360. Obviously, the odds are a bit weighted there, but I'm running it. Brian Battle. I think that's the last one. I'm gonna double down on Brian. Your Anderson Brito as well at minus 298. Those are probably just the 4 straight up. I would just take all things considered. A unit, half a unit, maybe even a couple units. No, I was gonna say my house again, but I'm like, no, I'm not getting that crazy. Don't be too crazy. Not gonna pull that joke out again. But yeah, I think those are some of my favorites this week, ladies and gents. And again, I do like my underdog card. Obviously, the main co-main event being sort of the theme around that. Renato, BA, I like him. And then again, some others are in the prelims in the form of a potentially a Chris Duncan. But yeah, brother. Other than that, there are some heavy favorites. So, proceed with caution for sure. Or if you're like us and you want to hedge a little bit, maybe you sprinkle in some of those underdogs. You never know. And the juice is always worth the juice is definitely worth the squeeze. Talk to me, brother. What are your bets? I think you were kind of mentioning them a little bit earlier, but I'm assuming you might want to recap and let the people know, man. What do we got?
Yeah, man, we've got some pretty good ones this week, folks. As far as the DraftKings Sportsbook specifically, these are the ones that I'm thinking. So, first and foremost, we're going to go through the ones that I've already sent through. Those are, we got Matt Frivola, Brian Battle, and Brendan Allen. So for that one, I was originally thinking about putting a 1/5 of a unit on this one, folks, but I'm going to say fuck it. I 7x to my unit here that I put a 1 unit bet on a 3-leg parlay last weekend on football, and I hit 7.5x the money there. So I'm playing with house money again here, folks. So I'm just going to up that to 1 unit here. So we're sitting at 833 odds, or plus 833 here. So again, money line, Brendan Allen, BA all in. We got Brian Battle, and we got a Matt Frivola. Okay, so 2 out of 3 of those are dogs, plus 833. You put 1 unit on that, you're going to get 9.33 units. I'm going to put 1 unit on that, right? So here we go. That's the first one. The next one, we're going to do Ludovic Klein to win by TKO, KO, DQ, or submission. That's how DQ or DraftKings does it. It's essentially on any other sports book going to look like Ludovic Klein to win inside the distance. You get that right now currently at minus 175. I am again going to go ahead and put 1 unit on that one. Let me tell you what that equates to. So Ludovic Klein to win inside the distance. You put 1 unit on that, you're going to get 1.57. Okay, folks. The next one is going to be a fun little bet. This is the opening 3 parlay. Now, again, these odds have shifted. So actually, let me just run the odds numbers again because they have shifted. And then we will, I promise you, get this place as soon as this wraps, because otherwise they're just going to keep fucking shifting, apparently. Let's go here. So we had Chris Duncan, money line, plus 150. That one is still the same. Originally, we had Nora Cornole at plus 180. That number and line has shifted to plus 170. We'll take it. And then in the next bout, we have Victor Altamirano at minus 125. So if you put those all together, that is currently sitting at plus 1,115. Again, 1 unit on that will get you 12.15. We're going to go ahead and say fuck it and put 1 unit on that. Because just why the hell not? Yeah, Nato, what do you think about those bets while I let my cat out so he does not break down the door?
I like it. Thou shalt not pass. Hold it all. I like the bets, brother. I do like it. And ladies and gents, if you're listening, let us know your thoughts as well on those bets. But I do think you're hedging in the right areas. I think I was just saying, I think, yeah, you're hedging in the right areas. I think you have a good balance of, some high upside, but also some good logical picks. And I think if you're listening, you don't got to, maybe unravel the full portfolio, but maybe you want to take some bits and pieces. Anything that sounds good to you, worth throwing in there. If you do end up locking it up and you hit and it hits, send it over our way. I personally will get you some merch or something sent over for the winnings, get you double up on those earnings there if we, are able to help you out there. But again, man, I think those are some good picks. A couple underdogs that are juicy. Looks like Jock here likes our Frivola pick as well. And he's also not mad at the picks either. I mean, I think we're seeing some good things here. Might be onto some now. Might be cooking up a winner. You're swinging a hot bat. You're over there, multiplying your profits, multiplying the unis and football. That's gonna have to trickle over here to our MMA as well, brother. I think we're due for a big one.
I'm not gonna lie, I've actually been having pretty fair luck in football recently on underdogs.
Let's go, baby. You're locked in, man. You know how to apply it.
We might
got all the fundamentals.
We might have to make happen a little underdog segment up in it.
A little seggy. I like my segs. Down for the seggies, always.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I do feel like we should probably delve into some underdog stuff. Did you have any underdog picks that you've thought about? I mean, I'm going to look at them right now on the fly. I'm going to be completely real with you.
Yeah, I would say honestly, as I'm pulling up the app too, I have not looked at all, but always nice to take a gander at what they're considering.
I personally like looking live on the show. I feel like it's even more fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all fresh. We're talking about it. Benoit.
This is a good one, man. There's some nice little odds here. So let's start here. What are the fights that you actually feel the most excited about or most confident in?
Well, I mean, there are some like super heavy favorites, right? Like a Ludovic Klein, for example. But like, even the line of 40 significant strikes, I guess that's assuming that he's just to go in there and put him out, right? But higher than 40. I know you sometimes have the stats up of like maybe what they've done in the past or what they average, but without seeing some of that data, I mean, shit, Ludovic, that's interesting, actually. For some reason, yeah, it's only finishes for Frivola. I would have took the over on his punches, but that is not an option.
Oh shit! I thought I was muted. Sorry about that. Did not mean to clear my throat in the mic. That was very rude.
No worries.
I was gonna say, what do you think about Eileen Perez? 42.5 significant strikes. I feel like that's kind of a tough ask.
Yeah, it's a lot in 15 minutes.
Maybe
she's
heavyweight
not
over.
Like a heavy.
Might be an easy one, right? But is Balaji Oki as a heavyweight or a light heavyweight? Sorry.
Balaji Oki? No, and
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of
Dodson. Yeah, they're light heavyweight too.
Yeah, he's a lightweight. Balaji Oki.
Yeah, lightweight.
That might be the under. That might be an under.
Those lights, they fly around now.
They truly do.
I think. Yeah, I do think that I do like. Man, I don't know why Frivola isn't on here. Not to leave y'all on a cliff.
Are you not seeing Frivola?
Just for the strikes. I wanted to see some significant strikes I would have taken, but I don't think he's to say he's gonna get the finish is tough. That's not something I'm necessarily gonna advocate for. But your innocent breed though, 40 significant strikes. That's interesting. That is interesting. Shit. Then maybe if it's like playing some defense, maybe I go under on a Nasruddin, Imavov or something, just because maybe if we assume Brandon's gonna win, maybe it's like, hey, they're not gonna do as much damage as they think they are.
All right, look,
that's tough.
I'm gonna take it over here. I'm gonna take it over. I'm gonna give you a second to breathe. I'm gonna give you a second to think it out. I'm gonna play this to show Underdog Fantasy what it could look like. If only we could just partner. That's just a quick on the fly thing. You know what I'm saying, Underdog? This is why you should partner with us. But either way, we're still going to preach the gospel fucking truth here, folks. I got a 2-legger. You know, I'm a big fan of the 3-leggers. Probably because I'm the third, folks. But I digress. I picked a 2-legger, and it might be one of the most fruitful 2-leggers I've ever seen. When it comes to the underdogs. Sports betting. Now, here is the 2 people I'm betting on here. We got Brian Battle to go out there and get a gosh darn finish. Okay, folks, because I truly think he does. And then other than that, it's simple. Folks. I'm going to bust it out again. I'm going to do it again. Here we go. It's right here, folks. It's right here. Okay. We're all in on Brendan Allen to get a finish. So if Brendan Allen gets a finish, and if Brian Battle gets a finish, we just need the 2 Bs to go out there and bust ass. And if that happens, we basically turn our money into 12.7x. We almost 13x our money.
Cheers.
On a 2-pick?
I like it.
On a 2-pick.
I like it. Lock it up.
Okay. That's them. Them guys. Them guys.
That's right, baby.
So, okay. I put you on the spot when it comes to the MMA stuff. We're going to wrap up very, very shortly. Before we call it a night, for those of you that do watch football and love fantasy football, Nano, I know you love the football.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any big... Do you ever do the underdogs picks on football?
That's a great question. I do not. Do have some friends that do it, and honestly, I'm so deep in the fantasy football game. I would be very biased in my picks on something like an underdogs or DraftKings or anything where it's the over-unders or even like the weekly pick'ems. I've done that sometimes with some of the buddies. Like we've done our fantasy or like we've done our DraftKings lineups for like, you know, the big pay-per-view events, things like that. Those could be fun sometimes where like you have a budget, try to make the best team. But man, yeah, I don't do the bend on the individuals there, and I think obviously, you know, your boy, the whole responsible part. I don't know if I'd be able to do that responsible as well as everything else. But you know, I got opinions, and I mean there are some lines that they have obviously for receptions, receiving yards, things like that. You know, that's kind of where I'm at there. I don't know if you put any down yet, but that's definitely a realm that we can start to dabble in. Oh, nice. There you go.
I was just curious to kind of pick your brain on it. It's a 3-leg. One of them's a gimme pick because they do a gimme pick in NFL. I wish they would do a gimme pick in UFC. Again, Underdogs Fantasy, if you are listening, if you are paying attention, please toss us the same benefits that you toss to NHL, NFL, etc. Give us one of those gimme picks. Like right now, the gimme pick that they have, or one of the gimme picks, is Patrick Mahomes to get over half a yard. So it's guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
It's a guaranteed pick and it multiplies. So if you put that with anything, you're winning money. So like, for example, if you put that with CeeDee Lamb to get rush plus receiving touchdown, either. So over 0.5. So if he gets a rushing takedown or receiving takedown, touchdown. I'm still in UFC mode, takedowns. If he gets a touchdown, whether it's rushing or receiving, that'll 3x your money. With just that and Patrick Mahomes getting half a yard. So like that's easy money, in my opinion. If you want to take that and then double it, which is what I'm going to do because I'm greedy, I'm going to take that and instead of getting 3x, I'm going to get 6x. So I got Patrick Mahomes to get over half a yard. Easy. CeeDee Lamb to get a touchdown, essentially. I think that's probably like an 80% chance of happening. And then CJ Stroud to get less than 265.5 passing yards. He hasn't hit 260 in the entire season so far. Closest he's hit is 235, I believe.
That's solid, bro.
Or sorry, he hit 260 2 weeks ago. So the highest he's hit is 260. He'd have to break his record for the season. I don't think he's going to do that this week against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills did just put up a huge game against them, but that's kind of where that could be a trap game. Like, because they've been kind of bad, they're going to have like a bounce back week. They're due for one.
Exactly. So, I think they're going to really reinforce that defensive line.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that, brother. That's solid. There's a rhyme to the reason. And honestly, especially with something like underdogs, like there's so many different types of over, under, different combinations. I mean, obviously the more you do, the bigger the payout. But if it's like making 1 to 3 to maybe 5 decisions on specific players, things like that, I think it's typical to want to play the overs. I think I typically gravitate that way. One, because it's funner, and I think you just always assume like, oh, they're gonna have a big game. And I mean, I guess like there are some guys that are having the 100+ yard games or touchdown or 10+ receptions, things like that. But I would almost gravitate towards the other end of the spectrum and recommend looking at what sticks out for like an under. Like who, I don't even know. Well, like a Devontae Adams is a good example of someone that like always has a high line, but like yardage line, but like our offense is so up and down as a Raider fan. It's like he may not always hit that. He may score 2 touchdowns or something, but like the other thing too is kind of comparing people. So if you know, like you love Justin Jefferson every week and you're like, he's just going to go out there and ball out every week. Maybe you look at what a Justin Jefferson has and then the guy that you're looking at, a Nico Collins or CeeDee Lamb or all the kind of elite players, Rashee Rice. You kind of get a sample check of where they're all projected. And if you realize like JJ has 20 yards over some of these other players, why is that? What's the matchup? What are they seeing? But again, all to say, like I probably would look at the unders typically and just try to find like a glaring, obvious matchup. Like, oh, well, hey, this receiver is going up against this defense. Not the best defense, but they have a good cornerback. Or these systems, or hey, they're just not playing good. Like a Joe Burrow, right? Like a Jamar Chase. I probably would just maybe take an under right now. Just not loving their offense. So yeah, I would look at those types of trends. But it's fun. I think you can't go wrong any way you slice it. That's kind of the fun part with underdog is the options are limitless. So get on there, y'all. Download that today, and we can send you a code if you are going to do it. Let us know.
Absolutely, use code at MMAnomaly if you're tuning into that, folks. And also make sure you follow at MMAnomaly on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. I don't think anybody actually calls it X, but if you do, we love you. And make sure you also follow at Jive Turkey Nano on X as well, or Twitter, whichever you prefer to call it. And as we like to say here, if you're new, if you're old, if you're already subscribed, either way, do us a favor, folks. Like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. That way you know when we're going live, just in case we switch it up and go live on a damn Wednesday like we did this week, because I'm moving. And it's a busy week, folks. So if you notice that next episode I look like I'm like a jihad prisoner or something, and there's like just a complete white backdrop, don't be alarmed. New place, new setting, same face, same betting. And folks, please, above all else, the only thing that we really, really, truly, truly want and truly care about here on this show, above all else, is that you keep on going and you keep on growing, folks. See you next episode.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.